Okay, well, welcome everybody to the Town of Shenango Town Board meeting. Please join me with a pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Clerk, roll call.
Mr. Simonis? Mr. Johnson? Mr. Hulbert?
Here.
Mr. Warden?
Here. Mr. Clerk, communications?
No communications.
No communications. Okay. We're going to go to open forum. Guests shall speak in an orderly fashion or limited to remarks of 5 time minutes or less. The speaker shall deliver their comments or concerns in a civil tone and without the use of profanity, personal attacks, or other disruptive behavior which may result in the offender's removal from the meeting. The speaker shall not be interrupted except a matter of urgency. Would anybody like to speak tonight? Sure, go ahead. Please come up to the mic.
Okay. Oh, that is loud. Jim Brewster, I'm speaking tonight as chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals. I'm just going to read my prepared statement for you. Mr. Supervisor and members of the Town Council, I'm here tonight to follow up on the vacancy and expiring terms on our Zoning Board of Appeals. I first wrote to you on June 17th of 2025 requesting you to begin the procedure to fill the ZBA seat vacated by the passing of Mrs. Kinney. I followed up again on September 7th with more specific recommendations, which are promoting Mr. Walters from alternate to a full member seat, in turn appointing a new alternate member to the board, and also reappointing Mr. Miller for a new 5-year term effective January 1st, 2026. There are some caveats to that if you want to ask me questions later on. It is now almost November, and these appointments are not yet on any agenda. While I fully acknowledge the importance of filling the recently vacated town council seat, I must emphasize that the town has a charge to administer all its boards with equal commitment. The deadline is quickly approaching. Mr. Miller's term and the alternate position's renewal date both expire on December 31st, and I feel the ZBA should no longer be shorthanded or operate in a state of uncertainty as we move into the new year. Therefore, I ask for a minimum action tonight. Please order the solicitation of applications for a new ZBA member and schedule specific dates for the deliberation and resolution of the proposed amendments during the future topics discussion, with a requested date no later than the first meeting in December. My next point, finally, for your awareness, I will be submitting a reimbursement of $100 for the NYAOT training I completed this week. I understand these funds are already allocated under the designated training item, line item A8010.400, so board approval should not be necessary. I will coordinate with staff to ensure that everything is prepared for processing, either in the next abstract or however we get that done. And lastly, I do want to close by stating that the training I took on Monday was excellent. And point of note is we're only at the beginning of the renewable energy discussion, so I strongly recommend that all council members take the time to learn more about what's called the Office of Renewable Energy Siting Process, or ORES, if you haven't already. The state's dominance over a town's jurisdiction in this matter is truly eye-opening. And thanks for your time.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else like to speak?
Dave Russin, 32 Johnson Road. I just wanted to tell you guys that you're talking about the moratorium coming up and you're looking into it and all, and I think I brought up the real property tax law 487 before. One time the town opted out. It's a good thing, I think, to opt out. It's in reference to what he just said, the state putting a hammer, a cudgel over your head basically about what you can do. I think it would coincide very well with that moratorium. What that does, I'll give you an example. That just makes it so they don't, you know, a solar farm is going to have to pay their fair share of taxes, basically. That's what it is. And if they have to, they won't even think about coming to this town. And I'll give you an example. 247 Airport Road, I believe, was one of the first ones here, 2018, I believe it started. Now, that's assessed at a whopping $3,150,000. You know how much tax they pay? 0. They should be paying somewhere around, I think, 140, 50,000 a year. So that's something the town goes without, the county goes without, the school goes without. It's one thing to give them tax breaks and, you know, the pilot program and all that stuff. Tax breaks are fine, but this is kind of ridiculous. And I want to address one other, I hear these rumors sometimes. First of all, the town assessor, she's a real nice girl. She needs help, guys. I think you're looking into assistance for her, which is nice. She's overwhelmed. She walked into a tough one. And as we look, when you walk into this office, when you walk into the office for the first time over here, and you see the town clerk, that's the first people you meet. That's who you get the impression of what this town is about and what it's like. I think when Liz Ann was there, I'm not positive, but I think Liz Ann had herself and 2 full-time deputies, I believe. Could be wrong. Right now, we've got one. I think we've got one, and then we've got a part-timer. That's just something I think you should be looking into, making full-time or putting another one in there or something. You guys are busy all the time. I know that. But I just think those are some things you should look into. And one last thing about this deal up near us in Nimmonsburg with the solar farm thing. The guy who owns the property, I won't get into the names, we all know who he is. He's been getting away with murder on this deal here. He's in what they call the private forest exemption. It's the New York State forestry law exemption. He's been getting 80% off on his taxes for the last 15 years, 14 years, somewhere's in there. And by signing a contract with Cipriani, he is actually breaking that contract. And I believe there's going to be a lot of repercussions for that. Back taxes, fines, this and that. I don't know what they're thinking about, let alone the idea that they want to do that up on the hill, which is absolutely ridiculous. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we're going to go on to old business. 5.1, retiree Medicare healthcare insurance discussion. Would you like to?
Hi, guys. Good evening, gentlemen. I understand you guys have more questions for me tonight. Should I start out with going over health insurance, or do you want to specifically ask certain questions?
Well, we have them both. We have 5.1 and 5.2. One is the Medicare and the other one is the active and retiree health insurance.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Kevin.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we have two, we have the Medicare and we also have the active health insurance.
Right, right. Okay.
I know last time we talked about the Medicare, did we have questions about it?
No,
Now,
we accepted the one for the retirees. We did the motion
Okay,
to accept that plan. That's what I remember.
okay,
And that's what I recall as well.
okay. So we're good on that one. Now we gotta pick the,
But just if I could,
Yeah.
because we're talking about that with that plan for the retirees, I want to make sure that, we didn't actually do the resolution, did we?
no.
We did the motion for it.
Yep.
And that,
We were holding it till he came and talked, so
Oh.
that's. what
Yeah,
I was
there's a
saying.
resolution on the agenda later tonight.
for that later. Because of the change in the cost of that premium to the retirees, the town board had discussed making sure that the town picks up the difference of that for the 2026 year. And without you being here, the only question I have is whether or not that we can do it. I'm assuming we can, or how we work it out is what I'd prefer to do, but I want to make sure we're not doing something that we shouldn't be doing. We're already paying portions of it, so I don't see the difference in it, but that's appropriate, correct?
I'm sorry, Gene, I didn't hear everything you said. I couldn't hear, I'm sorry.
Just the differential between what the past premium was and the new premium.
Okay.
The town is gonna pick up that differential for the
Okay.
2026 fiscal year.
The past premium was $84, it's this year. It goes to $101 next year for the blue enhanced. Yeah, $20 more, and you were talking about keeping that plan and just absorbing the increase, is that what the thought was?
Yes,
Is that what, and I'm sorry, I didn't hear your specific question on that.
that's,
That's it?
that was it. I just wanna make sure that there's a process in place that we can do that. And
Okay.
it's not inappropriate
Yeah.
financially.
And I'm sure you're all aware, what we've done over the years, we've made so many changes that are beneficial for the employees and for the town. You used to have a group Medicare policy, and now you have individual direct Medicare policies. And those group policies generally run now as high as $500 and some a month for the employees. This one that we have the direct policy on is now $101. It's very comparable. It's a great way to go. You guys are in a good position. I want you to know that we moved that some years back. You're in a really good position. The only thing that you could, we can look at some other stuff in the future anytime you'd like to, but right now, you guys have a great position. It's the number one plan that the Blue Cross has on a direct basis. So, you're doing very well with it. I've talked to almost everybody in the last 2 weeks on your retirement plan, almost everyone, and, on direct phone calls with them. And no one has any complaints, at least they didn't voice them to me if they did. And I talked with them on the phone and, yeah, they're happy with what you have, so.
Okay.
And then, now on the health insurance portion, are you guys,
So we just got the new rates.
yeah,
We added them to the agenda here so everybody can see them.
Yep.
And it's basically between the two plans, the bronze and the silver.
okay. Now, I can tell you the differences between this year actually, and next year. The deductible went up a little bit, and the maximum out of pocket went up a little bit. Those are really the differences. They haven't changed much. It went up about just over 11%. And, again, I wish it didn't go up at all, but, the only way to keep that premium about the same for next year would be to go with a bronze 7. You're currently on a bronze 4. If we go to the bronze 7, though, that would preclude you guys from having any HSA program, the Health Savings Account program, which is in place now.
Which we couldn't do, correct?
Okay.
'Cause of-
Now, I know that in chatting before, it would be difficult at this juncture to change anything with the employees, especially the union people. I get that. So, any questions you have with regard to changing to that, all I could tell you is that the only way to truly make a change and get them to accept it and be, I don't know that they would accept it, but all we do at this point to try to lower the cost, the only thing we can do at this point is to take the HSA money and make it HRA, which is Health Reimbursement Account. Health reimbursement accounts pay out just when they expense a medical expense. Health savings accounts are money that's given up front at the beginning of the year and throughout the year that they put in a savings account at the bank. And they have to use it just for medical expenses. So by going to an HRA, a full HRA with no HSA, you would save that upfront money. not all of it, because obviously people use that health insurance, so they would have expenses. But you would save all the upfront money for those folks who are healthy and don't spend it. Again, at this point, I know a gentleman talked about not being able to get the union to accept that. I get that, but I have to let you know your options. That's my job. Sure. So,
All right.
one of my things.
When do you need, this decision on this?
I'm sorry?
When do you need the decision on this?
Well, the sooner the better. There's a special form that I have to fill out for you guys. It's because you have lifetime benefit services, does your reimbursing for the employees. They like to have the forms in at least 45 days before the start of the plan year.
Okay.
At the end of the year, too, they get a bottleneck of all these, list them all. But that's generally the rule of thumb that I use, 45 days.
Does anybody have any questions?
No, but that puts it at our next board meeting, and if we make the decision then, we won't make the 45 days.
So probably need to make the decision tonight.
Yeah, and I also think that that's kind of in line with what our discussions need to be with the preliminary budget numbers. So I'm just for the schedule, that's all.
Now, maybe the third thing that we talked about at the last meeting was a safe harbor wellness program. That would be a savings for the town to have the program. That's a way to get, actually you get payroll tax savings by having the program. And the payroll tax savings, there is a cost of $35 per person on the plan for the town, but the tax savings per employee that are on the plan, if it's a single, it generally runs just over $800 a year tax savings. If you have a family, that's 2 people or more on a plan, the tax savings generally run around $1,200 a year. And when you take the $35 per month, you multiply that by 12, I think it's $410 or $420. So your tax savings would be substantial by having the program. Now the program gives the employees, it's called Safe Harbor Wellness. It gives the employees free mental health visits that are unlimited and their family members throughout the whole year. That could take some of the onus off your reimbursing on your health insurance. So not only you get tax savings, you could save money on your reimbursing the employees as they're doing this. Also, doctor visits. On your current plan, the employees have to use their HSA money, and when that's gone, the town is then paying for those doctor visits on the reimbursing side, the HRA. In this program, the employees all would get free doctor visits. They're telemed visits or over the computer, but they're 100% free. The employees could do it over the phone, they can do it over the computer, and there's not even a copay for it. So that could also save the town money, and it saves the employees money.
Okay.
All right. So those 3 things we chatted about last time. If you have any questions on that, and the gentleman that came up with that program, he's in Massachusetts, it's a federal program. He was given the award of CEO of the Year by putting that program together. So.
Alrighty. Any other questions or?
I don't have any.
Do you guys have the safe harbor and the health insurance and the Medicare paperwork, all of it?
Yes.
Okay.
You gave us all that the last time.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
We just had the updated rates put in there.
Good.
Okay. We just received those in the
Okay.
mail.
All right.
Okay. I guess we're all set then.
Is that it, then I'm done?
Yeah. No other questions.
Okay,
I
guys, thanks for your
have any.
time.
Yep.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Yep.
Do you want to discuss this now, or do you want to move down the agenda?
I don't have any issue with discussing it now.
Okay. Which one would you like to go with?
Well, I believe we're in agreement on the retiree piece with Medicare, right? We've kind of
Yes.
discussed that. I guess my first question is, why wouldn't we move to the safe harbor program?
I don't see a disadvantage anywhere to incorporate that as a benefit.
I agree, Gene. I think it's, from what I read about it, I mean, I've never experienced it, but from what I read about it, I think it would be beneficial all the way around.
I suppose if it doesn't work, we can always get out of it, right?
Certainly can.
Okay, so we're going with the blue enhanced for the Medicare. That's the one we did the motion on before.
Yes.
So we're gonna have a resolution on that tonight.
I think to Gene's earlier question was, just the mechanics of picking up that difference for 2026. I believe we pay a portion of it, but instead of just doing a percentage portion going forward, we have 100% of the difference for 2026. I just don't know what the mechanics of that are.
I believe we pay that premium monthly, and then they have to, the retirees on Medicare give us checks back for the portion that the percentage that they have to pay. And it's usually based on when they retire and what percentage they were paying at the time, and
Right, I'm just saying, because.
so
if
this
it's just
money,
a-
we would have to budget for that number
Right.
right there.
Right. I'm just saying, just as a percentage formula, it won't work in 2026 the same as it did in 2025 if we're picking up the entirety, 100% of the increase for '26. So I just don't know what the formula is driven to the retirees for them to make the reimbursement checks. That's the only piece I'm getting to. So if it's done by a percentage, the percentage is going to change for 2026.
Yes. What we have to pick up, what we have to budget for is 14 Medicare employees at that amount, 101.30. We have 14 of them monthly. That's what we need to budget for.
And the revenue that we get from them would be just based on what they paid in 2025.
Yeah, that's what we'd have to base our revenue on. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so we're good with that. So it's the active healthcare insurance.
Just a question on the safe harbor, that $35 per person, who pays that?
We would pay that, correct? That was, so the town would pay the $35.
That's the application fee per person. Okay. I don't, we just gotta budget that, but that's fine. I'd rather pay the 35 and have everybody enroll. Okay.
So it'd be, currently we have, would it be just for the employees that are on it now, or would it be for the retired? We have retired employees that are not on Medicare. We have 5 retired employees that are not on Medicare, and we have 9 general employees that are on our health insurance now.
Without knowing the answer to that, I would just leave it to eligibility. If they're eligible to enroll in that plan, then they can, retired or active.
Would the retired be eligible to enroll in that?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
He stayed because he heard us discuss
I
it.
thought there might be questions, so I just hung around.
Okay.
Yeah, the wellness program, anybody that's working full-time can be on the program. Yeah.
So
What
we-
about
But we have
retirees?
5 retirees that still pay for they're not at the Medicare level. So
Okay.
they still get the health insurance from the town. They must be considered in the,
So they haven't turned 65 yet, but they're retired.
but they're retired, but they still pay the percentage into their health
Yeah.
insurance that we,
They would not be eligible for the wellness program. The federal guidelines mandate that they have to be, fully employed
okay.
and do that, yeah. Has to be they have to be on payroll.
So it'd be the 9.
Okay.
And then now it's between the silver or bronze for the actual health insurance.
I think the silver benefits match up more with where the 25 benefits are for the bronze 4, because of the changes.
You are correct in that, and some employees have expressed their concerns that they would like to be silver because they match up better than the bronze.
The parts in the bronze where they lost with the deductions and just with that gets very complicated. So my preference is to go to the 16 silver.
I agree, Kevin.
Okay.
There is a significant cost difference though, and I think that's just, part of the, for a single, it's $742 against $893. So, you've got a $15 annual premium, or monthly premium that's going up. Percentage-wise, it goes back, to whatever everybody's paying, but that's just,
19%.
yeah.
It's a little bit, I think, less for highway, right? You guys aren't at 19%, are you?
No, they're
15, yeah.
Who's counted in the 9 employees though?
I don't believe so.
I was gonna say, 'cause there's 9 of my highway guys.
Well, no, she said they were, but that wouldn't be right, because then,
That guy.
so there'd actually be more with that,
There'd be more what?
for the $35 for the safe harbor. She told me 9 were general employees, but Darren's saying that his highway guys, there's just 9 alone in those guys.
Oh.
Maybe that's not, maybe I didn't clarify my question when I asked her how many town employees were on the, because they're under the union contract.
Yeah, there's 9 of them.
And that's probably the other issue that just wanted to have a conversation about with this, because the insurance on the CBAs is always a problem when a particular program or silver 4 or bronze 16 gets canceled and we have to go to something else. Then we have to get back into negotiations with the CBAs, because we have to offer a comparable or compatible package for that. So just increasing those coverages is just gonna carry over and complicate those going forward. So that's just part of it. I still think the silver is what I'd prefer. I just don't wanna not have those as part of the financial end of it, because it's gonna go out.
Doesn't the contract state comparable or better? Can't be less.
Yeah, let me look at it. This is the AFSMI, right?
Equal or better.
It should be. So it says.
Yeah, it's just within that conversation with the equal or better, it's who determines it's better. Is it better because the cost is lower, or is it better because is it better for you 4 people and you, not you? So it's just that, it's
Okay.
not a simple conversation, that's all.
Yeah, so right now, though, the contract's, it's under Article 12, says we're gonna be doing the Simply Blue plus Bronze 4 health plan.
So to change it, you've got to negotiate with them anyway, because it's plan specific.
Right,
And that says the bronze 4.
correct.
Is that the same for the other union also?
The Teamsters have their own health insurance.
I don't know, that makes it it does make it complicated.
We have to open the contract if we wanna, unless they accept it.
If you just do an MOA, if they accept it at face value with the increase, with the cost,
The 16 silver, or?
if they accept the 16 silver, because the contract says bronze 4, if we go with the 16 silver and they accept it, they've got to accept the cost increase as well.
Yep.
So,
Right now, it looks like they're paying for a single 662. A family's is 1,887. If you go to silver, the single would jump from 662 to 893, and then the family would go from that 18, call it 1,900 to 2,550. So I could see them having some concerns about that.
I understand what you're saying, Nate, about that jump, but that jump isn't from 662, it's from 741.
Well, right, that's true. 'Cause
And
you're
it's,
right, it is
they
going
pay
up to 741.
15% of that.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's 15% of that, not that actual. We pick up the rest.
Right. So if that,
You're right, and it's actually the 2,100 then to the 2,550.
yes.
Right.
Mhm. If they will give an MOU to accept that, then to go to the 16, otherwise I think we're gonna spend too much time with the insurance company on getting everything, and we'd have to stay with the bronze 4,
Okay.
which I don't want, I'd prefer not to, but. we
So, I
can't-
mean, do we want to,
You don't want to offer them that prerogative to accept that rate increase? Because I think the coverages are comparable to what they have today to the silver.
I didn't mean to confuse it, Jay. I would prefer that the union do get offered the silver 16. And if they decline that because of the cost, then we have to stay with the bronze 4.
I agree with that approach, Kev.
so do you want to do a motion on that? Because you don't want to hold it off to the next meeting.
Yeah,
Go with the silver. If they don't accept it, then we're going to have to go with the bronze.
Right. Yeah, so I'll make a motion to, for the 2026 year, accept the silver 16 insurance package, offer that as a comparable package to the CBA for them to accept as an MOA, and if it's rejected, then move forward with the bronze 4 insurance.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Are you gonna want them to have a timeline for their response? Cause this is gonna be set up before the end of the year, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, Chuck, what's the date for when the
It's
insurance
45
company-
days. 45 days to by the end of the year.
Before the end of the year?
Yes.
So November 15th is the date.
So that's why we need to do it now.
Yeah, no, I was just backtracking it, so tomorrow.
We can send the letter tomorrow. Draft the letter and send it tomorrow.
I mean, we could even sit down with the highway president and just
We
lay
can
it out
ask
to him. I mean,
Okay.
Do you, okay. Any other discussion?
I have none.
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 Okay, roll call.
Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hulbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye. Do you want to do a motion on the safe harbor, or?
Yeah.
or you-
Yeah, I'll make a motion to move forward with the, implementing the safe harbor plan for the eligible employees.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion?
I have none.
I have none.
None.
Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hulbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye. Okay, moving along.
Yep.
5.3, wastewater treatment plant change order. Alex.
There we go. Change order 5 was here earlier in the month twice. The last thing I think was asked for was just to have the contractor signature on there. Change order 5 is the grit removal that was done. We'd originally had a work change directive and then expanded it from there to keep things moving. Leeson is here from B&L to discuss any questions on that if you have, but I think we're good with that one from discussion last time and earlier in the month. C2A is change order 04. That one has to do with additional binder required at the Glenview Apartments. We ran into some pavement thickness issues where we were working and had to increase the binder thickness so that that binder was sufficient enough to match the existing. I reviewed both, Greg reviewed both, we were comfortable with both, and Leeson again is here to discuss C2A if you wish.
Okay. Do you have any questions or discussion on this?
I did not have any.
I have none.
Okay, we have none.
Both have resolutions later.
Okay. Alrighty then, moving on. 5.4, comprehensive plan contract.
I can do this one also. Nate did a real heavy review, marked it all up for them, gave it back to him. They were working on a revision. I didn't get a chance to get through all of it by Thursday, so we will both continue to look at that revised contract that we have from Colliers and intend to have it for you next Thursday is our goal, so it's on for the next meeting.
Yeah, Colliers accepted almost all the changes I made. They had a couple of minor tweaks back, which I had no issue with. Gene, your comment about, they're not showing the 12-month timeline. We've asked them to put that together and include that. So I think the way it'll end up being structured is, here's the 12-month timeline with the dollars, and then it's an option for the town to extend, to do the full
Correct.
EIS, and a longer timeline with an amount for that if we choose to exercise it or it needs to be exercised. So it's all just right in there.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on to 5.5, Smith.
So, do you want a I'm thinking it'll be ready by the next meeting. Do you want a resolution to approve it at the next meeting?
I don't see why not.
I don't see why not.
Well, I just want some clarity that I don't want it to go any farther than the next meeting. So
Correct. We're 2 weeks behind at the next meeting.
Right, so, I don't want to delay that at all, and also,
Okay, so I'll put a resolution together and I'll ping them tonight and be like, hey, just make sure we want to get that approved for the next meeting.
okay.
Okay. 5.5, Smith Hill rezone.
I
Alex.
believe you had everything you needed earlier in the month and had scheduled tonight for your review of this one. I reviewed it, deemed it complete. The last piece that I had needed at the end of September or earlier in October was just to confirm that the payment was made for the application, which it was. So as far as code review of the application being complete for this stage, I deemed it complete and anticipate the board's decision on if it moves to the planning board for review next for a preliminary development plan.
Okay, Nate, what's the procedure on this, the proper procedure?
So your town code, once it's been deemed complete, requires you to refer it to the planning board not less than 10 days prior to their next meeting. Their next meeting is on November 10th. So assuming that you agree to refer it to the planning board tonight, or that you folks otherwise find it complete, that would give it enough time to get to the planning board. The planning board has 45 days to complete their review and provide you a recommendation. So the planning board, it'll be in their hands for certainly November. Possibly they might take until December to finish their review. I don't know. We'll see how long they take. Once it gets back to you folks, you would then schedule a public hearing. So what I would probably say is, let's do referral to the planning board if you guys agree, and then we can send it to the county for 239 review, now as well. And then once it's back from the planning board, again, not knowing if they're going to take one meeting or two meetings. If they only take the one meeting, you guys would have their recommendation back by the 12th, which is your next meeting, but that's not in time to make your agenda normally. So you would probably hear it at do you have a second meeting in November? Did that get,
26.
Okay.
Day before Thanksgiving?
I'm out of town. But it'll be that evening when you get back the planning board's recommendation or your first meeting in December, if the planning board acts at this upcoming meeting. So that's just when you would have it back in front of you, and at that meeting, you would schedule the public hearing for your subsequent meeting.
Okay. Do you have any discussion on it, wishes of the board?
I just want to make some clarifications about the 10 days. Because our code goes back and forth between business and calendar days. Does that section say? Because I want to,
It just references 10 days. No reference to business or calendar, so I would read the 10 days as calendar days.
which is fine, it still gets it there before the 10th. Which is what I want to make sure that we're doing, but that's also, we've got to get it over to them like tomorrow, so that it's there, that's all.
Yeah, what I would anticipate is just tomorrow morning emailing, getting with Renee probably to have the whole packet of stuff emailed to the planning board, because she'll also need it to get on their agenda for their next meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Have to figure out where 239's at also.
Well, we just send it to 239?
239, I don't know where that,
We're like, what do you mean, where it goes?
Adam, you didn't submit it for 239 yet, correct?
No, it has not
No,
been
it hasn't.
submitted.
No, we have to accept it.
Right.
The board has to
Correct.
accept the package and then refer it to the planning board and separately send it out for 239 review.
Right.
So that likely pushes planning board to a second meeting to wait for the
Well-
30 days.
No, the planning board doesn't have to wait, because it's just an advisory opinion to the town board. The town board would have to wait to make a decision.
Historically, you guys have wanted planning board to see 239 though before they comment. I suspect you'll do the same again. Sorry, Nate,
Oh,
I
yeah,
know
that's
other things they've made me go back when 239 came in.
Well, isn't the requirement for the 239 for the town board and not the planning board?
Correct, but in the past on some other matters, you've wanted the planning board to see those comments before you wanted their full comments, just in case they needed to address something from 239. Just something to consider.
And it's worth considering, but just to keep the process moving, once we get the 239 review, we can forward that to the planning board for their information. They'll have the review going on. And it might, we might not get comments back for a couple of months, so that 239 review, actually just thinking about it, until we get the planning board comments back, the 239 review doesn't need the planning board comments?
No, I don't think so. They just need the complete application.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah, and the planning board has 45 days under your town code to make a recommendation. So if the planning board feels like they want the county comments prior to recommending an action to you, they can choose to wait.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't want to get caught up on what we normally do and what's required to have happen. It kind of gets us delayed a little bit more than we need to.
Yes, I'd like to follow the procedure the way we're supposed to follow it.
So then I think a motion to accept the application and refer it to the planning board would be appropriate.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the Smith Hill rezone application and refer it to planning board.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I have none.
None.
Should they be two separate things? The referral,
Why can't they be combined?
just procedure-wise, you got to accept it before you can forward it, and that's the only reason.
I'm
If it's
not,
not an issue.
I'm not gonna get overly hung up on that. When a motion has two actions, they're contingent on each other, it should be fine.
Okay.
Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hulbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye.
And then, Alex, do you think this is a type 1 action or unlisted? It looks like an unlisted action.
It's unlisted based, well, just for what it is and the amount of acres.
Okay.
It doesn't trigger a type 1 in my mind.
Okay, so, I'm bringing that up because if it was a type 1 action, we'd have to do a notice. You would need to make a motion to declare, or to declare yourself an intent to be lead agency, but that's not required with an unlisted action. So we can just do what's called an uncoordinated review, where any boards that have to review this at some point would undertake their own environmental reviews, unless you want to do a coordinated review of this action. Okay.
I didn't look at it to determine whether it was type 1 or not, so,
Yeah, it appears unlisted. It's, I mean, less than an acre in size and relatively minor, you know, in the grand scheme of type 1 actions, so. Okay, just flagging that, and move on.
So do we need to make a motion to send it for the 239 review?
No, that's just
That's
part
just
of
gonna
it.
be part of it. Okay, perfect. All right, moving along. 5.6, wastewater treatment plant update. I guess, oh,
This one's definitely Leeson for
Lisa's
tonight.
gonna do it.
She's here specifically to help with this one.
Hi, everyone. Last week, I brought up the fact that the general contractor for the Northgate wastewater treatment plant has requested a time extension due to a number of delays that they've encountered. They had submitted a time extension request change order that included both time and costs. We had sent back a number of comments. They submitted a revision that reduced that amount by around $130,000, and we still continue to have remaining comments. We had additional discussions with them on the document that was provided to you guys last week. You'll note that that change order cost is around $500,000. While we have no issues with the schedule and the time that's being requested, we did have a lot of comments on the cost that's being requested. And we asked that they substantiate the reasons for the delays associated with each of the costs and the time so that we could better understand which may be on the town due to the sludge hauling delays, which may be on different contractors, or which may just be on their own schedule bus. So they are working through those revisions, and they expect to have a resubmittal to us at the end of this week or early next, so we can provide a recommendation to Alex and Greg by next Wednesday, and then have a formal change order in front of the town board for their next meeting. I just also wanted to note that you'll see one of the other main comments we had was on their equipment costs. They were using the federal highway rates for those equipments when the equipment was not being used. We did not agree with that, and we indicated that we wanted to use that. We recommended that they use the standby or the idle rates, which are significantly lower. So that will also drive those costs down, even the ones that we do feel like they are warranted. So just wanted to be here today to see if you guys had any questions, comments, additional information that you would like the contractor to provide. That way, in hopes that when we do have the change order in front of you at the next board meeting, we can have some discussions and possibly take action on that.
Leeson, in their change order cost tracking, the first 3 months, the labor costs are more than double if I take them from the next 3 months.
Yes.
I didn't dig completely underneath it to see what's driving that, but in that first month, it was a representation of, I'll call it 2.5 weeks, maybe 3 weeks.
Mhm.
It just seemed pretty significantly different than the other months identified for labor.
Yeah, and that's largely due to just that's kind of where they're going to be doing a bulk of their work during those months. Once they hit those last 3 months, they'll be doing final, restoration work, startups. There will be less crew members on site. They won't be working they won't have as much of a crew on site during those later months, just based on the work that's going forward.
Are the delays they encountered, have they been resolved? Are we gonna continue to see this? I mean, cause obviously they've carried this through October.
Correct, and yes, the delays that they are associating with this are the sludge hauling delays. So they had 37 days when the belt press was down and when we went through some of those delays with sludge hauling. So that is done. They've continued to move forward. The next delay that they are claiming in this is that electrical equipment delay. So the switchboard is not being delivered until January. It was supposed to be on site around this time. That's one of the delays that we don't agree with, because the electrical contractor has done everything in their power to get a temporary power connection. So it's not temporary power, it's just a temporary connection to all of the necessary equipment to not delay their startup of those equipments. So for instance, the side stream pump station is starting up next week. That's not been delayed due to not having that equipment. They were able to make that happen. So that is a delay detailed in here that, yes, that has been, has come to an end, I guess.
Are there any other delays that you can forecast that would affect this contractor?
The only one is if we have additional issues with the remaining sludge hauling in the 2 remaining cast basins. However, since we've gone through that before, we can hopefully act a little bit more efficiently on their end, on our end, and on the town's end with having them continue moving. But if something happens with the belt press again and they have to stop work, that could be something that could delay them. Equipment-wise, I don't foresee any delays. I believe everything has been shipped or delivered or on site, so I don't see any delays at that point. And this schedule does build in winter conditions, so they are anticipating if there's any, slowdowns due to frozen grounds, snow removal, things like that. We've asked that all be included in this request so that it's
But they're not
complete.
in the request I'm looking at now.
It's excluded.
Currently,
excluded.
it says it is, and we made that comment that it needs to be included if that's,
To Gene's
part of
point,
this.
it
It does.
states it's excluded.
yes, and we made that comment that in that revision that it should be included. They did not state that they would be asking for any additional time when we asked them to include that, but we'll see what they come back with.
Okay, any other questions?
For this work, how much of this work is a result of the delay and is actual labor included in the original contract?
So there's 37 days that they were delayed for that sludge hauling work. So we've actually requested that table you're looking at right now, that instead of breaking this down by each additional month, we ask that they break it down by each type of delay that they're asking so that we can better understand what those reasons are for each of those delays.
Because
And the
if they
dates.
didn't do it in their original schedule and they still have to do it, that's not a change in cost.
Understood, and that's what we've relayed to them. That was the big conversation that was just had.
Right, so the delay and identification of labor is almost like standby labor that you referred to earlier. They weren't able to do anything else that was part of their contract.
In those delays, they were still, yes, so there were some items that were delayed because we could not take that CAS 3 offline because it could not be drained. So there was some schedule effects due to not being able to complete that work on time.
I guess the way for me to clarify that, was there any opportunity to manipulate the schedule to keep that labor from being, hey, we're standing around and we're gonna charge the town?
I do believe that they did. I believe they kept moving as best as they could. We can look closer into that and be sure to add that in our response.
Right, because I agree with Gene that, we don't wanna pay for something that they were already included in the contract.
Yes, fully agree with that. So anything that was unrelated to that, and it's just additional time, we've requested that they revise that. They're asking for additional labor and equipment for every single day that their time extension is kicking out, and that's something that we don't agree with.
Right, they were working, it's my understanding, while that they were down those days, they worked on other tasks, so essentially they advanced something.
Yes, they didn't pause completely on site.
Are we expecting the other primes to forward similar change orders?
We did request that. We still have not seen anything from any of them.
I knew the answer to that, but I wanted you guys to hear it also. I'm anticipating each of the primes, electric, plumbing, will all have a similar request because they all get delayed to some extent.
Just to answer your question, if we've got any other comments, the things that weren't included here, Lisa, were any of the correspondences that you've shared with the contractor and what you've asked for, your breakdown?
Okay.
So, just so that we're not reinventing the wheel or going down a path that you've already investigated, if you could share that with the documentation so we know what you've already asked for. And as far as the completion date in October of '26, I know we talked about trying to project if there was any financial issue with the regulatory agencies on that.
Correct.
So what's the expectation on that?
So at this point, we have discussed this time extension with DEC. They do not foresee any issues with the consent order, any additional fees. I can get that in writing from Matt Woodey, who we are working with the DEC, and include that in this change order.
And there's nothing with the EPA?
They coordinate with the EPA. We coordinate through DEC with the EPA. I'll be sure to get that as well, though, whether it's through Matt or I can reach out directly.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
I have nothing. Just if, because this is such a large item and there's items that are in dispute, if you resolve some portions of this, I'd rather see a change order prepared for the items that are not still in dispute. Like if we can't, within the next 2 weeks or the next board meeting, let's do a separate change order that we can get your approvals on to move that forward so that they can get paid for something that everybody agrees to,
Okay.
instead of
Understood.
holding up a $500,000 deal.
Yep.
I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Yeah,
No, that makes sense.
that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Lisa.
everyone.
All right, on to 5.7, senior account clerk, bookkeeper, approved applications. So I believe we need to put together a interview committee. And as a board, decide which of these applications or all these applications you'd like to interview.
With only 5 applicants, I don't see, the need to
You'd
narrow it
interview a
down.
minimum of 3 anyway, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so we're gonna interview all 5. Who would like to do the interviews?
I would do it if I have to, but I don't think I'd be good at it because you're dealing with certain computer applications, software that I'm not familiar with at all. Like I say, I'll do it if I have to, but I won't be very good on the technical part of it, of what skills they have to have.
My concern with me doing it is my availability for the next 12 days, because I'm out of town 8 of them. So,
Is it a conflict of interest to me, for me to do them?
for you,
Yes.
no, I
as
think
the-
you should be part of it.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
What?
if you're not
Yeah.
available, I'll do it with him, but I was gonna recommend that you be part of that.
Yeah, this is just a horrible time for me to, my availability.
I guess it's me and you.
Looking
Jody.
forward to it.
It's me, you, and Jody.
All right. Okay. Jay,
And then we'll
Thank
just
you.
interview all 5, because we would have interviewed 3 anyway, so we just might as well.
I know
Talking to
Nate
5 of
mentioned
them.
something about having Dwayne involved in it, but I don't believe I'd even get him here to be able to.
no, but might be worthwhile to ask Dwayne to, for some questions and some processes, things to verify during the interview.
Would the board have a problem him viewing the applications to see their experience of?
I think anything that would help narrow down and get the best
Okay.
candidate would be fine with me.
Okay, we can do that. Okay, so then we need to,
Yeah,
we'll get together and.
Yeah, we'll get together and come up with a schedule and reach out to all 5. And
So we're gonna do this before the next meeting, correct?
I would, yeah. If you were gonna do it after that, my time frame frees up, so.
We
So-
need to
Yeah.
get somebody in there.
Yeah, but that's what I was thinking.
So Kevin, for me,
We
I
could
would say
talk-
we,
we could talk
yeah, we'll do it
tomorrow.
later, but it's gonna be Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, in my opinion, so.
I'll be here.
All right.
Anyways. Okay, moving on. 5.8 budget discussion. I think you all have seen the preliminary budget. There's probably a lot of questions. We definitely need to do some work on it some more. Do we have enough time to dig into it tonight, or do we need to do a special meeting? How did the whole open meeting fall? I thought you said we might be,
Yeah, so we're required to hold, to at least open the public hearing on the preliminary budget prior to this year, November 6th. We weren't able to make the deadline for publication in the newspaper to open the hearing tonight, which is why you'll see there's no public hearing later. So either you just accept that you're not gonna make the November 6th timeline and know that you've got that procedural issue. I don't believe it's ultimately fatal to your adoption of the budget, but I'd prefer if we had followed the timelines that we're supposed to. So, and this is where it's just tough. If we get it to the paper tomorrow, I'm not even sure that we'd make the 5-day publication deadline for a meeting prior to November 6th anyway. It's just, the timeline's too tight. We need to hold a special meeting, though. It would be my recommendation. If you can't make it before the 6th, do it as soon after the 6th as you can. Don't wait for the 12th.
okay? You heard from the lawyer.
The 5-day notification, isn't there a process for the supervisor to call a special meeting with no notice?
The problem is, the statute requires a 5-day notice of public hearing prior to the preliminary budget hearing.
Oh, conflict in that, got it, okay, all right.
So you're talking,
But the only point of it, I would expect that the only point for the meeting is to open up the public hearing.
Right, that's it.
That's it, not take really,
We could keep it open.
yeah.
but we have to go through the budget again and make some changes. I mean, you saw, take a look at the
Yeah.
budget.
I've gone through it, I've got probably about 10 minutes worth of conversation on these comments.
We can do it right now if you think, if we can get it in.
I think we need to do it.
Okay, let's do it.
So, two overall comments is one, the fund balance report. Kevin, if you can work with Dwayne to see where that is, or how to get those.
Working on it today. I was working on it today, and there's a lot of questions. So, I mean, we could talk, but
And
nothing's
that's
changed, nothing's changed from the last report you've had.
okay, and
But-
I didn't know if it had or not, but the only thing that comes into play is the offset on what we want to do with the sales tax. That's how it affects the conversation for me. But if we're, the budget numbers that Jody sent out today, the revised budget changes
The preliminary?
For-
Oh, the,
for the tentative.
yes.
Yep.
The changes from the tentative to the preliminary.
Yep.
Yes.
So there was, on the first page, there was A 1440.407. The
Yes.
MS4 mapping line, that was still at 0, and we were waiting for a number from Alex on what to budget for that. So,
I obviously failed to get that to you Thursday in time, so I did not have that value that I expected by that date. I did review the requirements, and I was still trying to get a number together to have for you.
I can't put it in until I get a number.
right, but I don't see how, I mean, just if we plug in a number of 20,000 for outside services. Everything else, you know, if it ends up going wherever it goes, we can vet that out, but I'd like to at least see a number in there that's kind of respectful for the effort.
Okay.
It's a decent base, that value.
Okay. So we're gonna add 20,000 to, go ahead, 144407.
Okay. And I'm just working through, like, the tentative budget, page 2. The town clerk contractual. That was, the postage, we were gonna break that out. I had a note on my, that I didn't see where the contractual 1410.4.
So postage isn't in there, I don't, there's a separate line for postage?
We had a conversation about breaking that out as a separate line item so that we could track the postage.
I thought,
What line
that's
item?
under the central print mail, 1670.400, 1670.400. Am I correct on this, Adam?
Yes, correct.
That's why we upped that line to 20,000 from the modified budget of 8.
Okay, I had my note back on the 1410 that was for postage and we were breaking it out. That's all. If we're gonna keep it that way, that's just gone. That's fine.
I did think we were breaking the postage out as well, but I just saw the note on the changes that said postage, so I just generally assumed that line item was postage only. That 1670.4.
It was an increase to cover the postage.
Yes.
But it's not a postage line per se.
Right.
Yeah, I thought, because I had a note too, and that's why I assumed that was just a postage line.
So what you're saying is you
Is
want
that,
to, you
yeah,
want
that
to,
should have a separate line for postage.
you want to put a line?
Yes.
So if it stays at 1670, if it do that, then it'd be a .401 for postage.
Okay, we can do that, 0.401 for postage. And then we'll, how do you want to split it out? If there's,
I would keep it at the 8 and then 12, or, yeah, 8 and 12.
okay. Okay, can do that.
Then there was on page 3 for the 1440.405.
Hold on.
Were we able to find out what that $2,500
Hold on,
deficit?
sorry.
Oh.
Sorry, I was right.
Nope, that's okay.
Which one you talking about?
Page 3.
Yep.
1440.405. There was a deficit of 2,500. Were we able to find out what that was?
No,
Okay,
I am,
nope, that's okay.
that.
I
That's an
really
engineering.
think that's one of the application fees from one of the SWIPs.
No, and we talked about that, but we were just gonna run it to ground, that's all.
I can still run it to ground, but I
Absolutely.
did, and I'll be honest, I did not run that one to ground because I figured that you were, sorry, I thought you were doing it.
It matches an application fee, those are $2,500
But
bucks.
I'll do that tomorrow, so if there's something.
There, The other one that's on that same page is the 1450 on whether or not we leave in the election contractual.
Yes, so I called the Broome County Board of Elections. We actually do get billed by OMB, Broome County OMB, every year for an average of 4 years of election costs. What they do is, because some towns have small budgets, instead of incurring a large cost on an election year, they just budget out for what the costs are over 4 years, and then every year the average cost of they average it out for the 4 years. So what I'm saying is they say they bill us every year. That line has never been expended. So that OMB is obviously going into a line they're putting in a line it's not supposed to be.
Oh, it's coming out of somewhere else.
Somewhere else. I gotta track that down.
Okay.
But I left the money, I think we should leave the money in there, and once we start expending it out of the correct line going forward.
Got it. And on the same page here, we had, at the very bottom, the records management. I had on the 1630.2 was 1,000 for equipment, and I had it, we took that to 50,000 for for the hardware to do the camera upgrades, but it 0.4. The 5,000 went to 50 instead of the 1,000.
Okay, hold on.
Yep.
So the
1630.4.
0.4, we went up to 50,000.
But that's the contractual. And we should have moved the 0.2 to 50,000 because we're buying equipment and hardware.
Gene, that one was my fault. You're right. I have it backwards here, and I'm the one that sent an email to
Sent me
Kevin.
and changed
I sent
that.
it to Kevin to tell him to change that. But now that I'm looking at the note, I had it backwards.
Hey, thanks for
Yeah,
taking the heat
yeah,
on
no-
that one.
No problem. That one was 100%
All
on
right, so
me.
let's get it right. You wanna
Yep.
move it up to the equipment line, 50,000 in the equipment line.
Yes.
And then that
Yep.
contractual line, you want it to stay at 4?
Stay.
It was 4 last year.
I was just, in my head, I was keeping it at 5 because that was what was
Okay.
proposed.
Whatever, yep, that's fine. We can do that. Okay. All right.
Then if we move to page 5, there was a new line added, A4960. And that was for 360,000.
Where are you?
Well, I'm just going in numerical order. I'm on page 5 of the tentative budget.
Okay.
There was a
What was the line item?
A4960.
49.
I have no
I
A.
don't have a 49.
Do you have the sheets from Jody?
Yes.
So on the third page of the sheets from Jody, about halfway down the page, there was a
Oh.
A4960.
Okay. Do you want me to explain that, Darren, or do you want to explain that?
Well, I know where it is, but there's numbers that don't correlate to each other. That 360 is what I think supposed to match the $400,000 that we kept in the budget for the same item. So I don't know why they're different.
Like Darren can answer this, so maybe let him answer it. This is why, this is what we went through.
So we went through it. We went through that, and that is our, with our portion taken out. That is what the grant is, what the money is, what we're gonna get. That's with our portion taken out of it.
It's the 90%.
90% of the grant,
Of the
Of-
four,
of the 400,
of the
sorry.
400,000.
We went down to 400 because we started at 420 for the grant. Then we decided we used some of it, so we went down to 400. Then we were talking about it, and the 90% of that figure becomes the 360, because we have a portion of that we would have to pay ourselves, which is the 10%.
So if that is then the revenue,
The revenue would show
I,
that's the revenue portion of it. That's why we're not seeing it on this page you're looking at on page.
So the
we're in
revenue is,
preliminary, portion of the expenditures is 400. The revenue section would be that new line item,
A4960.
which is under revenue, state aid or federal aid for the 360. Or,
so
It's under
right?
federal aid on page 3 of the revenue, townwide revenue.
for 360.
that goes to 360. Thank you.
See, that wasn't in there before, and we worked with Dwayne on that. That's why there was the larger mistake earlier.
Okay. All right.
Sorry for the confusion.
Nope.
I was trying to find it on my paper also.
I was a little confused at first, too. I had to remember how we did
There's so many papers to look at right now.
Okay. Moving on to page 7 of the tentative for the general fund. There is, on the bottom of that, in the admin, on the ordinance admin, there's just, the stipend amount, is off 6,002 cents. I didn't understand.
Because that's how we have to, the budget has to be at least more. If it's less than the actual pay that she gets in her paycheck, there's not enough money in that line to pay her. So when you average out her pay in that stipend, it came out because she gets paid every 2 weeks. It came out to 6,002 cents.
I understand.
You understand what
No,
I'm saying?
well, now it's an equal because of because of it.
You're right.
For
So
rounding issues.
This year it was 6,002, but going forward, I can make it 6,000, and then she'll have to try to readjust her.
I understand where it comes out.
You tell me.
No, but I understand why it's 6,002. You're taking 6,000, dividing it by 26. Because of the penny rounding error issue, by the end of the year, it's 2 cents off.
It's 2 cents off.
I understand. Okay.
I'd rather be more than less
No,
with an employee.
okay. I get it. It's okay. On page 8. That was just, on the sanitation, the landfill, there was 9126. We were just gonna figure out what that was. And if we didn't do that yet, that's fine.
Yep, we looked that up. I did the expenditures. The only thing that was expended out of that so far was the micro labs. That's obviously Greg's testing at the landfill for $9,126.60. So there's still remaining 17,000 in there. But do you do your grinding out of that or your chipping?
Yes,
Darren?
that's where that comes out of.
Okay.
But it hasn't been billed yet. That's the only expenditures I have now out of there.
We have not done it yet either yet. We're hoping to do it soon.
And I believe Greg says he has more testing to do, right? I can't.
Yeah, if he has more testing, we're gonna be way over that line
Okay,
then.
well, maybe he doesn't. But that's all it's expended out of that right now.
All right. I'm going on to the tentative budget revenues, page 1. We certainly can come back to this, but the proposed budget of that was 3.29 million for the sales tax.
Yes, 3.29 million, yep.
And just to marry that in with the fund balance discussion and stuff, we just gotta decide whether or not that's the number we wanna carry or not.
I can give you all the numbers, all the money that's in all the accounts. And you can tell me if the last fund balance expenditures was removed from those accounts, because I cannot figure it out. That's the problem I'm at right now.
Okay.
So how do you know what your true fund balance is?
Well,
might be right, it might not be.
But you don't have any indication whether or not it's close to what Gene sent out?
Well, that's the last sheet. That sheet right there is the last sheet that was on Lori's computer. I went on there today, pulled this up.
Okay.
This is the last thing she did. All these expenditures here that come to 3,111,000 should have been pulled from the fund balance account or from the savings account, correct? Or a mixture of the savings account and,
So they would have, but they would have been paid for out of a budget line item,
correct?
so that when the overall budget summary sheet that we're talking about, like the very first page of this document, those numbers would be, those would be expenses. So the fund balance, the fund balance is really just what's left in the checking accounts when we're all said and done.
Yes. So I can give you the balance that are in the accounts right now, all the accounts.
Okay.
I have that as of the 22nd, because that was the last time. I can't access the savings account. I have to go to the bank and get the balance on it. The other ones I can access online.
Okay.
But I can give you the total number, but it just seems to be, doesn't seem like all those expenditures were removed.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's something we need to sit down and work on. We can ask Dwayne when he comes in.
And I think ultimately the,
It's hard to get him to, you know, I can get him to pay the bills and get him to do the budget, but it's, you know, not a lot of time spent.
okay. Then,
Gene, on the revenue side of this, would that fall under interfund transfers? Where would we see that? Oh, under appropriated fund balance? Is that where that would be? So if you were to utilize that, say out of the sheet that you had sent.
Yep.
You have those items there, whatever that totaled. That would have to show up in the revenue sheets here somewhere.
actually, it has nothing to do with the budget sheets. The fund,
But if you're gonna
You're
expense those,
the fund balances don't show up here at all.
You are correct.
but if you add those into your budget, how do you cover that? If those are expenses within the budget, where are we covering that with revenue?
Nowhere.
Okay. How does that get paid for?
You do a line item adjustment to that budget line item, say it's a contractual issue, or equipment issue.
Okay.
You're gonna transfer out of the balance sheet,
Yeah,
the funds into that.
okay, so you're doing that as those are contracted or as they're expensed?
Yes.
The only reason I question that is because this sheet that you have here, much more that goes with it, and there was a whole bunch of questions on how to do that. How do I expend this? Do I take it from this account, put it in this account, and then transfer it to this account? So that's why I'm saying I don't know if it was actually done,
Okay.
so.
So the mechanics of municipal bookkeeping is completely different than
Correct.
private bookkeeping, so.
Minuses are pluses, pluses are minuses.
Yes. So, but just in concept, the budget itself is a year-to-year document.
Yes.
It's not the balance sheet for the
No.
town.
It's just a budget.
So if we have $10 in the balance sheet is, as far as what's there, and we need to increase the line item by $2, we're gonna do that, but it's a journal entry on the balance sheet to transfer out of that balance sheet line to a budget line item so that you can expense it when you actually cut the check.
Yes.
Thank you. That's helpful, because I was looking at it completely different. Like I had to cover that within the budget itself.
No,
No.
but it should expend it out of the accounts.
Yes.
Accounts should go down to reflect that amount.
As they're expended.
So what I really need to do is go and get the actual expenditures and
Yes.
deposits to those accounts.
Yep.
And I have to go down,
As-
I have to go down the
as of-
bank to get them, so I'll have to go down tomorrow and get those.
Right.
So I can see if that was,
And that's the information that Dwayne will use, because he went through and did these in April.
but I believe some of them were done, because Darren said you had money in your account to buy stuff that was under that fund balance, so it had to been transferred into it. Well, then again,
Yep.
yes. It's in the line.
Right.
Okay. Well, let's move on with the,
Nope, that, where it's, I know we wanna move on, I'm not gonna, I just wanna say with this 3.3 million in sales tax, if that stays there, we have the opportunity to adjust that.
we should be getting it pretty soon, so, but I don't know if we'll get it till after.
Well, that'll be what we get, and that's just being conservative, because we're gonna get we're gonna get over 3 of what we're gonna get, but budgeting 2.5 and balancing our budget with the fund balance is where I think we've gotta get to. I think we should be at the 2.5 on the sales tax, but I can't tell you that for sure without the fund balance, so we gotta get those two things there.
Okay.
But I'd like to see the numbers of it at 2.5 to see how much of our fund balance we gotta use.
Okay, but I'm just curious to why you came to the 2.5. You're projecting that fairly low.
Because I can't count on that in
I-
'26.
I understand that, right? Is there any indication from what we've collected in the past that would indicate such a drop?
No, but that's why that's why they have that number there now, because they're going off what the last quarterly payments have meant on it.
Right.
Right,
But you can't always count on that.
right.
And
And
I
that was,
agree with you 100%.
and that's there because Dwayne said,
That's what Dwayne said.
that's what Dwayne said.
So there's a
you can
percentage of-
plan it.
Okay, there's a percentage that you take off of the previous year's receivable. Because I'm just curious to how you took that much off
We had the same
of it.
argument last year.
I'm just curious
And
how
we
it
just
is.
said-
Maybe there's a percentage that comes off that. You look at it and say, okay, this is what we collected in '24. This is what we'll budget for going forward. Is there any rhyme, rhythm, or reason, or is it just, hey, always take 2.5?
It has been closer to the 2.5 because we've been conservative on what everybody else's projections are. And if it's upside down,
It's better to be that way.
And I agree. I'm just curious to know
Because-
how you arrived at that number.
I've
'Cause
arrived
it
at this
seems
number here?
arbitrary.
Because
The
it can
two-
help.
The 2.5.
Well, no,
Histori-
because how'd you arrive at 3.29?
I
It's
don't
'cause
know.
It can balance your budget out and make your budget look better.
And I understand that. I just don't know how we got from where
We
we
just chose a number.
projected.
We just chose a number.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
I don't mean to be driving conversation on this. It's just curious.
no, I don't think that you're driving the conversation because to understand it, all it is a conservative guess.
It's gonna come in between those two.
Probably.
Okay.
So you wanna leave that the same for now? Because you wanna get the fund balance, figure that out first.
I'd rather see it at 2.5 and work off numbers than see the high sales tax.
It's fine. We'd probably wind up with an adjustment somewhere in the end, so.
Right, because we can, just to make the decision from this tentative to the preliminary and the final.
So you want it to 2.5?
That's my recommendation.
Good with that.
I'm okay with that.
It's gonna really adjust your outcome, so be prepared.
Yep. On page 2 of the, no, these are, oh yeah, page 2 of the highway tentative budget.
Yep.
There was, when Darren took out the 10 months for that employee and it reduced those, there was one number in there of that $87,000 that went up on the Social Security. And I didn't know why the Social Security went up 1,500 and everything else went down.
Because I think there was a mistake to begin with in that. You can answer that.
Yeah, I think there was a mistake on the numbers that were in when we did it the first time. So she just redid her numbers on everything when she put all the employees back in. And those are the figures. That was all done by Jody.
Okay.
So it wasn't correct. the
That's
first
all
number
off of
wasn't.
all the employees that are in here and how that works, so. Through salaries, through that process, when she through payroll.
No, and I understood that those were, the retirement and everything else. Everything else went down, and without the explanation, didn't know why that one went up. But that had to have been short on the original tentative budget then.
Yes.
And then even with the reduction of it, it still went up. Okay. All right.
On the highway, can I talk about one thing that I saw on mine there that needed to be adjusted? On page 3 of the State Institute, the bonds, right at the top of the page. Under principal, we have the wrong figures, so I have to adjust those figures because it didn't account for the new bond that we're gonna discuss later on. That's coming out next year. I have those figures to discuss.
Okay.
And you're gonna start making payments in '26?
Yes, the first payment on this one will be 2026. And like I said, there's a resolution, or no, there's not a resolution, there's a discussion on it under new business.
What's the number?
So the new number for the principal, is 182,452. And the interest is 26,957, which is a total increase of that line of 45,884. And there was when they deducted it, I don't know why we never added, and I apologize, I didn't see that, but I didn't also have the figures for this other one until just last week.
So just so I understand what you're saying, Darren, for 9720.6.
9720.6, yes, went up to
When-
182.
The 145,946 needs to be 182,452.
Correct.
Okay,
And then the 700 line needs to be the 26,957.
okay.
And with that being said, real quick if I could, on the front page of the first one, where they have highway town funds and my whole line item there, where it shows the cover page, sorry, that was presented. It shows a negative 251,343.38. Out of that figure, that will go down to,
I'm not following you.
Hold on, what page you on?
so I'm on the original, the beginning summary page.
Oh, no, yeah, that,
But I just wanted you to know that that's where that will adjust from.
yeah,
Okay.
that
Just so we're aware.
43,000's gonna adjust from
We'll
there.
adjust out of that
Yeah.
line.
We'll talk about that. He's talking about the overall.
My overall,
But I don't have that number, that minus 250.
The- Yeah, it should be on the preliminary budget.
preliminary adjustment
It's under
cover sheet.
It's on the cover.
It's under unexpended fund balance, Gene, for highway, on the cover sheet.
On this cover sheet?
Yeah. Is that the one you got this morning, or yesterday?
No, I don't, no, this is off from this package.
Your
Yeah,
original.
okay.
Was that an email?
Yeah, I didn't see that.
It was put on the agenda,
Yeah, it's in the,
and Jody emailed it
it's
to
in the
everybody.
agenda, it's the cover page.
Oh, it's on the
On-
agenda.
yes.
I'm sorry, I was looking at an email and just like, when you said, when we got it yesterday, I was, not the agenda update, an email update or something. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, agenda update, I'm sorry.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
okay, all right. Then, just a couple items left here, guys, that go through. Just, where is it? On the sewer operating tentative budget, page 1.
Yep, there's some mistakes here, so. Go ahead if you wanna, I can tell you which ones are the mistakes.
Okay, the G8120.4.
G8120.4,
.4,
85,000?
yes.
Okay, that's not one.
We talked about breaking out the chemical costs for that and creating a .401.
Yeah, I would love to do that if someone would give me the answer to that.
So Greg did give us the answer.
He did,
And it was 80,000 for the chemical,
yes.
and so that would just leave that.
All right, hold
The-
on. I did not have this information, so. What do you wanna call the line?
.4
Yeah,
is 5,000
yeah, .4 will be 5,000, but what do you wanna call the line we're gonna make?
chemical.
Just chemical?
but-
But it can't be, can it be a .401?
It's contractual, oh, no, yeah, .401 is chemical,
Okay.
and that was 80.
And you wanna make that 80, the chemical line? Okay.
I thought the new chemical line was G8130.402.
Yep.
I thought that line was already made.
I put that line in there because that's what I was told, but.
Yes,
But I had no number to put with it, so I put zeros in there.
So,
I thought we put it under sewer treatment and disposal.
I know.
if that's where it goes, then,
That's where we were gonna take that out of, and that, I had 75,000 in there for that, but yeah, 80 would be good. He thought the costs were gonna be 75,000.
okay.
That's what I had from my notes, but Kevin, on the tentative
I
that
just
you
wanna make it
updated
right.
me,
Just-
yeah.
Just tell me what you want in that chemical line.
Yeah, the one you sent me here, you already added that line in.
Yep, I had Dwayne
So-
add that line, I
Yep.
just didn't have a number to put in that line. So it's G8130.402 labeled chemicals, you want that to be 80,000.
Yes.
And then the line up above there, you want just to be 5,000,
Well,
the contractual
The-
line.
I took 80,000 out of that and put it to 5, so that logic does not pass through that way, and if you're moving it out that way. So,
Why doesn't it?
I didn't have that line, all I was doing was reducing that line item above it at 400, 80,000 out of that, moving it to the new line item. That's all I did on the notes I have here.
right, so the 313, that's in the 313,343 contractual for the sewer treatment and the disposal.
Yes,
If that's the .4, and we're using 80,000 for chemical, then that number should get reduced by 80,000 and add an $80,000 line item.
Yes, which would reduce that line item to 233, 343.
Yes. Leave the 8220.4 at 85,000, because the chemicals are not coming out of that.
Right.
And I did not go back and find out why that number went from 45,000 that is to date expensed and a 25 budget of 80, and so leave it the way that it is.
So we're adding 80, the problem's gonna be that we're adding 80,000. I guess it's not gonna be a problem then. So you're just gonna leave that 85 up above there?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's fine. No, you're right. That'll be fine. So for some reason, we misunderstood when line G 8120.200, right above where we were working. We had it was 50,000 for the modified budget in 25. We lowered it to 20.
Mm-hmm.
Greg said we misunderstood him. We were supposed to lower it to 30 and not 20. I think what he meant is we can lower it by 20 and not 20. So,
Because I lowered it to 20.
so, yeah, so that needs to be 30.
Okay.
And then same down here, line in the sewer treatment disposal, G 8130.200, the first line, got lowered to 20,000 and should not have been lowered. I didn't even have it in my note. I think it might have just been a mistake.
I didn't have that
No,
as a
it might have
lower.
been a mistake when Dwayne hit the wrong line or something.
Yep, I didn't
But
have
Greg
it.
caught that, so I need to move that back up to 30.
Okay.
So, and once we do that, he says his balance is out to that, his sewer increase, so.
Okay.
Okay, so that takes care of that.
And so the new chemical one will be a .402?
Yes.
Got it, okay.
Yep, it's already in there, yep.
The sewer operating tentative budget, page 2, the employee benefits, all of those went up. I didn't know why. The first 3, I'm sorry, not all of those. Are they just, do we know why they went up?
I just go off of what Jody tells me. Tell her to run the numbers, give me the numbers, and I put them in there.
Okay, all right.
Gene, did you say the water operating?
No,
is-
he was in sewer operating.
Gene, they also went up because from the 3% to the 4% increase in their salary raise. So that'll that'll offset some of that too, because it goes by the salary. Some of them, if I am speaking right on what she was saying also.
Well, yeah, that's why it changed, is because of the we did a salary increase. But, and these number changes are from the 2025 modified budget. If you're looking at the preliminary budget.
I'm using these numbers.
You're using the old tentative budget?
No, I'm not.
But if you're using the preliminary budget and you see the percentage change on the right,
Yep.
it's our proposed 2026 preliminary off of the modified 2025 budget.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not off of the tentative budget.
Right, I threw those
Yeah, I know
numbers
you
out.
understand it,
Yes.
but that's what I'm saying, so that's how it's so confusing sometimes that.
Yes. And the fire district number 1,
Yes.
page 1. This is just the adopted budget number that's on there is wrong. I just wanted to, that's a mistake, because the adopted budget was not 325, 436. It was 331, 944.
So when I did the 6% increase, I did it off the adopted budget. No, I did it off
No,
I did it off the modified budget.
Which is the correct number.
Yes, but that's why it's showing 8.12%, because it's going off the adopted budget.
Right, he
on
took it
this.
off, it appears he took it off the 325 instead of the 332.
Right, I'm just saying that that number
Is,
is
yeah.
in the budget software is wrong. And I don't know.
Oh, you're saying the adopted one from 25 was wrong.
The adopted number, yes.
But the modified is correct, and the
Yep.
proposed budget is correct,
Correct, yes.
but yeah.
Yep. That is, and that is all that I had. That's all I had.
Okay, anybody else have anything? 'Cause some things. So we took care of the election. I know somebody had a question, because I had it in my notes for the contractual in the general street lighting, A5182.400. Someone wanted to know what was in that line. And it's all the NICEAG and Constellation for the streetlights. So it must be outside the lighting district.
Okay.
So somebody wanted to know the promotion of towns, A6410.400.
Yep.
No history that I can find whatsoever. Without going down into the record room. But there's nothing upstairs where it's been expended or.
I think that was just I think that was the conversation as to why we're gonna fund it for something that we haven't paid for in the past. And what we're gonna spend we put $1,000 in it.
So the only other things I have are A, revenue, general, A3089. We need to do a name change. It's a state aid. I guess Darren and Joy mentioned this. You wanted that changed to TAM.
Yep.
Okay.
Hit that note, yep.
Are we good with that? Because I didn't have that. Yeah, it wasn't done yet. And then the Wallace Road Trash Rack Project, you wanted to rename that A8540.404 expenditure. Somebody's got to give me a name if you want to name it. I'm just going by what I have in my notes.
Yep. The issue with that, Darren, wasn't it the Wallace Road name? That Wallace had to come out of it?
No, the one for the state aid was the one where Wallace Road had to come out of it, but now I see that it's completely out, so I don't know how that happened. Under the one you just said prior to that,
Is it gone?
it just says state aid now, at 38,
Okay,
that
I might
38, 3089,
I thought
just
it was,
says state aid now, so.
I just thought it was still in there. I haven't.
No, you're good, and I thought it was too, but I just saw that that's gone. That's
Okay.
the one I said Wallace Road had to come out because we can't show other revenue for that trash rack on Wallace.
Okay.
I think we were talking about the revenue portion of it needing to be named the same thing as what the expenditure line would be,
Okay.
I would think, but think that was the discussion we were having, if I remember right. But I have no notes on that.
Okay. Well, I'll have to. I can talk
I
to-
do recall something about
Yeah.
Wallace Road being in there.
But I can talk to Joy. You can talk to Joy tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, EDUs.
What my note is on the page 3 of the revenue.
Yep.
For the general fund,
Yep.
where it says state aid, this is for A3089.
Yep.
State aid Wallace Road project needs to be renamed to state aid TAM project.
That's what I had in my notes, and it has been changed? I don't think it has.
It only says state
Okay,
aid now.
so
It
I'll
doesn't
get
say
Tam-
the
I'll have
Spain.
Dwayne put TAM on there.
Okay.
That's the only thing that's missing, yes.
Okay. EDUs. EDUs were not in the budget. They are in the budget now. They are based off the latest projection that we have, which Greg is actually basing the EDUs off of, so if you wanna know what lines they're in, I can give you the lines. They're in the sewer fund, which is in the back of the budget.
And that's the 1015 that gets added? SS 1015?
Yes, SS 1015 is where the EDUs that are be collected off the taxes go. It's like 1,100,000 and,
167.
you got it.
Yep.
And then the bond debt service, it's gonna be line SS 9710.600.
SS,
9710.
yep.
.600, that's the principal. And then SS 9010.700 is the interest of the bond. So they balance out, so they're entered into that sewer fund. Okay. I don't.
SS 917.6.7.
Is it right? I just went by what Dwayne told me.
And do we know what those numbers are?
What do you,
That's what they'll be for the 26 budget. Yes,
so those numbers that are in there are the exact number off the 2026 line.
got it.
And
Okay.
Greg has to base those EDUs off of that line. That total debt service.
Okay.
The only, I'm trying to go fast, but.
Okay.
The one thing we didn't do is in the ordinance office, I did not split off that line for Randy or Nick. We wanted a separate line for that. So I just got that information today to split that line. We'll make a new line for it. Do you want one for each of them, or do you just want one line?
I would not need more than one line. I
You
don't-
just want a separate line for like a part-time?
Yeah,
What do you,
one-
what do you
one
wanna
line.
call the line? Code? Just so
It's
you know
really-
when you're looking at it.
It's really contracted services, right?
Except that they're being paid as an employee.
That's right, they're
So it has to go under-
temporary employees,
That's
right?
going to personal service lines. so-
Yeah.
You just call it temp employees?
Just do part-time code. I don't know if there's a line already in there for that.
Yeah, there is, and I don't see why would.
There is, I can put it in that line. I think there's part-time fire inspector.
Public account, town clerk, attorney, engineer.
There is, there's fire inspector, personal services, there's nothing in that line.
Which page is that on?
It's on page 8 of the,
Yep, it's on
Eight.
page 8.
8 of the general.
Thank you. I don't know, supplemental code enforcement officer?
You want a separate line? Or do you want
I mean,
that?
to put those in a separate line, yeah.
Yes.
And I'm just suggesting the word supplemental or an equivalent term like that instead of part-time, so that we're not confusing it as a budgeted line item for a part-time position that we're keeping. But I don't care
What do you, how much you wanna put in it? So Randy has expended since June to this date, $5,819.33. And Nick, from June to this date, is $600.27.
So 12?
12 grand?
That's assuming that we keep them in the same capacity for 26?
So you want that line to be 12,000. Do you want to keep that department head personal services line intact, just the way it is?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have any reason to change it.
Okay, so the only other mistake that I found that we left Doug at 41,000, but that didn't include a 41 or 4% raise. That's what he was hired at. He was actually hired at $22.50 an hour, is like $40,990 something dollars. But we had 41,000 in the line. If 40,950 was what he was hired at, a 4% raise would bring him to 42,588.
So is that the 103?
Oh, yeah, excuse me, I'm sorry, yeah, it's code enforcement line 103. We had it at 50, we dropped it down to 41. I would suggest bringing it either back up to 50 or around there, because if he takes over the floodplain manager stormwater job, which is on Darren right now, but has been recommended by Randy that he should not be doing it because he cannot sign stop work orders as an elected official, or he should not sign stop work orders as an elected official, that it should be brought back into the office for a code enforcement officer to sign.
I think we can do that with a journal or a line adjustment later on when it all happens, but his salary absolutely should have the 4% in it, and that's
Yeah.
what the budget line should be.
So 4% is gonna bring it to 42,588. Is that where you wanna leave the line at, or do you wanna put extra in it for the, just, you wanna do a budget adjustment later?
I would do it later.
Okay. Okay. Takes care of that. I think that's it. There could be more, but, so there's gonna be changes with the insurance now. So now we change, I'm gonna have to change, or have Jody recalculate those lines and change those insurance lines. Some of the general lines will change a little bit, cause I have to move, Doug up, his salary up a little bit, so some of those lines are all gonna have to change. What else? I think that's it. These all have to be done by resolution again? Correct?
Yeah, there's a resolution later to approve your changes to the tentative budget.
Now all these
From the tentative budget to the preliminary budget, so everything you just marked up could be attached to what you have as the current draft of the preliminary budget, and that could be approved. We just consider that as what's being approved tonight.
Okay, you can do that, and I just give you another spreadsheet with all the,
Yeah, and
I mean, where
Yep.
I have it documented out, you tell me what the proper way to do.
And then, the salaries for the elected officials that need to go in the notice of public hearing for the budget. I've got 23,982 for the supervisor, 14,487 for each town board member. Where the heck was it? there's like a modest increase, 4% for Adam, what are like 37,000 something. I have the exact number, I saw it in the budget. And then Darren, yours is also a 4% increase, so I think it went up to like 83 something. Does that sound right to you guys?
I didn't even look at it, so
Okay.
I just know the percentages are what we discussed.
Okay. And then it looks like if I send this notice of public hearing to the press like tonight, it might get published on Sunday, which would actually give you 5 days prior to November 6th, which is the Thursday. Or that'd be like the 5 full days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That'd be 5 days. Do you want to try to schedule your public hearing to open it on November 6th? The resolution later just has it as being November 12th, you know, so you don't have to vote on it right now, but if you want it to be November 6th, I think we might be able to squeeze that.
When do the changes that we just made have to be in this preliminary budget?
To me,
By that,
what you've marked up with the draft that you have is the preliminary budget. You know,
Okay.
putting it into a different form is fine, but I think you guys have it right now based on what you just talked about.
okay. Because I'm hoping to have it updated on the 6th. Because Dwayne will come in to do the abstract.
Oh,
hopefully.
he won't, he'll be in on the 6th, yeah.
Well, he has to come in and do the abstract, not the 6th, so.
Yeah, I think taking that document plus an Excel spreadsheet like you did the last time, putting those things together satisfies the requirement for having a preliminary budget.
Well, but we only have to do by resolution changes to those after the preliminary budget is adopted. Or prepared. Once we do the public hearing and have the preliminary budget established, any changes then have to be done by resolution. We don't have to do these changes by resolution.
I was just told you had to do all these changes, Barry. I'm just going by what I'm told. Tell me.
I think getting from the tentative budget to the preliminary budget, you want to document that, you know, reflects what the preliminary budget should be, which in highlighting the changes from the tentative, I think is helpful.
I'm not saying helpful or not, I'm just saying what is required. We have to do a resolution for each line item change. A resolution for all of them in one resolution would be fine, but if we make any changes to the preliminary budget to the final budget, they've got to be done by resolution. To go from the tentative, all of our conversations are to get to the preliminary don't require a resolution. We've never done that in the past, and that's not been something that.
Yeah, if you haven't done it in the past, I mean, go with the past procedure right now.
No,
So we're
please
fine.
don't misunderstand me. If we've done it wrong in the past, I don't want to just perpetuate that in the future, but it's just.
Yeah, so, I mean, the section of town law at issue says the town board shall review the tentative budget and may make such changes, alterations, and revisions as it shall consider advisable and which are consistent with law. Upon the completion of the review, the tentative budget and any modifications thereof, as approved by the town board, shall become the preliminary budget. So to the extent that you guys can only act by a vote, I think it would take a motion, you know, to, you know, an action to modify the tentative budget, which to me would mean a resolution to make changes to the tentative budget, or something to reflect that, you know, this is the modifications that have been approved by the town board. So like, again, what you guys have done tonight, I think it would be appropriate to take that document that, you know, Kevin's notes, attach it to the current draft of the budget that you've done, and approve that as your preliminary budget that you're holding your hearing on. You know, all the changes are outlined, you know, it's clear that those are the modifications that you've made, like that's, I think, appropriate.
So that's one resolution to come from the tentative budget to the preliminary budget.
Right,
Because the preliminary budget is what is presented to the public
correct,
for public hearing.
correct.
Any changes after that would have to be done by resolution as well.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, what does everybody want to do?
I would make a motion to approve the preliminary budget with the modifications that we discussed tonight. I just don't, without a document, I don't know. I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, so, I mean, you've got it, so what you have is, it's, the preliminary budget is like attached to the agenda, right? That's what you guys had, that's the document that reflects the discussion that you had on the 21st. Call that the preliminary budget. You guys are making additional changes to it, which is fine. But if, Gene, if you want to have a document that gets published to say, like, this is the preliminary budget, then that's the document that you have. And that can be published as the, and kept as a preliminary budget up through the hearing date, whenever you open it. And then we just know you guys are already got a bunch of changes that you're gonna make, and you've already discussed to it.
Well, I'm gonna have to get into the detail on this because I'm confused on how we're getting here with the names of these budgets. The supervisor prepares a tentative budget.
Right.
We discuss those budgets and we make the changes to them and adopt a preliminary budget. What's on the agenda tonight that's labeled preliminary budget
Is not a true preliminary.
is not a
That's-
preliminary budget.
He just had to make that, when he was working on it, be preliminary, because it will be, okay.
I get it, I get it, but I need for
right.
my own clarity to know, we have not accepted or adopted a preliminary budget as we sit here right now. So I would, if we're gonna adopt anything, then we're gonna accept the changes to the tentative budget that we discussed on the 21st and on tonight's meeting, and incorporate those changes into the preliminary budget.
Yes,
That is where I see where we sat.
that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that reflects accurately what you're doing.
I agree, that is exactly what we're doing, but without seeing the changes, can we adopt that? Just saying, okay, all the notes are gonna be accurate, and we've got trust that this all goes perfectly well. So, because I guess the concern would be is if it came out and we said, oh man, we got the wrong line on it, we need to make another change before we present it, we would have to have another resolution.
Well, what you would do is,
Change it after.
again, whatever's, ultimately, eventually this gets to, here's the, the public hearing, this is the, whatever document we have there will be considered as the preliminary. Right, like I don't wanna get overly caught up here, right? I mean, it's, if a mistake happens, Kevin doesn't transcribe something correctly, and you guys say, oh, well, that's not accurate, we're not gonna rewind and make you,
Okay,
Go through
so
it all.
that one gonna get presented to the public regardless.
it's, yeah,
At
whatever.
this juncture where we are on our schedule.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not time.
And that's kind of where I was going with
If,
that, so,
if we were at the beginning of October, I'd be like, yeah, let's.
yeah,
get
then
it
you could have
all.
another meeting, I understand that. That's, so,
No, I'm gonna say, because we are limited on time, I guess I make a motion to accept what we've done to the tentative budget with the changes we made, to accept it as our preliminary budget.
And then Dave, I think to just be clear, Gene made reference to it earlier, I think it's accept the tentative budget as modified at the meeting on October 21st and, tonight, October 29th, as discussed.
And I'll second that.
Okay, any more discussion?
None.
None.
I have none.
Mr.
Okay.
Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye.
And then do you guys want to try to do a special meeting on November 6th, which is the last date by when statutorily we're supposed to open the preliminary budget hearing? I'm not sure if you guys can make it or not, but.
I'm available.
I'm available. I don't know if the budget will be available.
Oh, the budget will be, my expectation of what the preliminary budget for that will be exactly what was on the agenda tonight. And
The
a
change-
scanned copy of what your notes are.
Well, my notes are all over the place, so I'll have to make a better copy of my notes.
That's, but that's okay.
Okay, if that's, I mean, I can try to get it in the actual form.
Yeah. But if it can't, that would be what my expectation is.
Okay. So,
So November 6th, you want to say 6 PM, your normal budget, or excuse me, your normal public hearing time?
check your schedules.
I will try and move something around, but that was one of the nights that I'm not gonna be around, so schedule it if you guys can.
I can make it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do 6 PM on the 6th.
Did anybody make a motion?
No,
I'll make a motion to schedule a special meeting for public, for the purpose to hold a public hearing on the preliminary 2026 budget. Of
November 6th,
November 6th.
6 PM.
6 p.m. At 6 p.m.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion?
None.
I have none.
None. Okay, roll call.
Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye. Okay, that takes care of the budget for now. All right. We're way past that, but there's no public hearings tonight. New business, 7.1, RFP for wastewater treatment plant operations. Saw the letter.
I don't have any questions about it. I see where it is.
Okay.
I don't either.
Moving on, 7.2, Constellation Energy contract. They sent us updated numbers today. So I put them in here on the agenda. I had Jody swap out the old and put the new ones in there. So it was kind of not a very nice phone call, but why haven't you renewed with us?
So this is a purchase of goods, electricities and gas. You're required to, you should be competitively bidding it. So we just need to go out to bid. Constellation can bid like anybody else. Because it's expiring, you will default back to NYSEG. NYSEG you can always use. You don't have to bid if you choose to just stay with NYSEG.
What do you guys want to do on it?
What's the aggregate annual cost?
I have to pull up. I don't even know if they have it on their spreadsheet.
I didn't
I don't
see
see
that.
it. I don't see
So
it.
they
I only
just-
have usage.
We would have to calculate all our complete, what our payments are to Constellation. And they're over many different lines,
Is it in your budget?
but
Do you know where it is in your budget?
it's all over the place.
It's all over the place.
It's in so many different lines.
Well, certainly for your lighting district, you're spending $50,000 or $60,000 in electric service charges.
Okay. I was not expecting a conversation about the RFP. I was looking at it from where we did it in the last contract to this contract, so if that's, if that's the issue because of the aggregate dollar amount on it and everything for it, then, then my recommendation is we don't renew it. We default back to NYSEG and we put it on an RFP if we want to pursue that.
I think we have to, don't we?
Yeah.
By policy.
And that's what I was understanding, is we have to, we should have been doing that in the past, so we should probably do it. We need to do it now.
Okay.
Right, and the only, yes, and I guess the question would be whether NICEAG is actually competitive anyway. I know other clients have used ESCOs like this, and, you know, the NICEAG's price goes down. So, like, I don't know what NICEAG has been historically charging over the past however many years compared to what Constellation has been charging you. So, it's, I mean, you still, if you want to bid it, we can bid it, see what those prices are and
But
what NICEAG is at.
I thought by policy, we have to put out an RFP for this.
If you choose to stay with NICEAG, you don't have to bid that at all. You can just.
No, but I think at this point, we've got to default back to NICEAG, and then I would like to put out an
Okay.
RFP on this.
Yeah. So I'll put one together.
Okay?
Okay.
RFP together. We're gonna go to 7.3, highway truck bond. You gonna explain this, Darren?
So that's what we were just discussed with the budget increase for the bonds for next year. Obviously, the resolution's on there that shows back when we started the process that it covers all this. This is just our procedure of doing the pre-delivery to get the bond and the rates. So we got two of them. This was the lower rate, so we chose this one, with
Green.
Bank of Green, sorry, for 10 years. So it's just basically letting you know that's where we are. Joy did all the legwork with some help from Kevin and Nate on this to get the quotes we needed in time.
So there's no board action for this because the bond resolution that was approved, whatever, however long ago it was, delegates to the fiscal officer of the town, the form, the award, all that stuff. So it's just, we followed the policy, gotten some quotes, going with the bank, whatever they were. We'll put the bond paperwork together. We've got some time because the delivery hasn't happened yet. Payments due within, it has happened. All right, so payments due within 30 days of delivery.
Well,
So
it's here.
that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. You're all set on that then? We got it in the budget, we're set.
Yeah, Darren, I just didn't see where there was a breakdown or the detail between the two. I know that the interest rates were 4.29 and 4.5, but I didn't see what the Tioga State Bank total amortization was. Was that in there somewhere that I missed?
I didn't see it.
Tioga Bank only gave
Just
us
the rate.
the rate, and then we put it together what the rate and all that was for all the stuff. With the rate being the lowest, we went with the Bank of Green just because they had a lower interest rate.
Okay.
So they did not give us one.
Okay.
So that was another reason too.
Yeah, and it was kind of a last minute. We pushed them to get the rate to us. They were kind of
Okay.
a little slow on it. 7.4, planning board budget modification request. If you see the letter there from Diane, what she's requesting.
Did they decide that they weren't gonna merge to get away from the increase in the meeting?
I was told they were gonna keep them separate.
And the alternate always goes and gets paid? I just didn't, that's a process issue, or I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
So the alternate was, yeah, always attends the meetings. I
Okay.
don't-
Is this just for 2025?
Yes, this is to finish out this year, because there's a deficit in the budget line. for planning board. Personnel.
And 6 extra meetings?
It's total of 6 meetings, 3 extra meetings. 3 meetings, including the 3 extra meetings, for a total of 6 meetings. The line is actually negative right now for personnel line and planning. So we would have to fund 3 more meetings for the rest of the year and 3 special meetings for the rest of the year. Total of 6.
And it's.
They
it's
might not
negative
use
bec-
it all. That's, Diane was just budgeting in case they did.
We're gonna have to do it, aren't we? I
So-
mean,
She's going by the request of
yeah,
the
but we can force
chairman
it.
of the board, so.
we can force them to have combined meetings, or what?
You can just not pay them. I mean, but what you guys have authorized is a fee per meeting, as opposed to just a fixed annual fee regardless how many new meetings that they have. So,
Well, a third of that is probably already expended.
I don't have any problem with doing this adjustment to this, but I do think there needs to be some clarity about what the expectation was, because the budget was for 12 meetings.
And the expectation for next year.
Is for 12 meetings.
Yes.
So who has the power to stress the expectation on the chairman of the board?
The town board.
Okay, so we're gonna need to do that. Because Diane tried to suggest, because I don't think she has the power to tell him what to do, she's tried to suggest that it would be beneficial to do your 3 meetings and combine the special meetings. Just do your regular business at your public hearing meetings.
So, and I understand the discussion and why they did it. And I think that it just needs, that this was done, we're doing it reactively. And the planning and the conversation should have been upfront, so we weren't into this issue. So I think our budget needs to be for 12, and if there's a situation where they have to do others, they've got special meetings and special meeting fees that cover that stuff, or, you know, just have a conversation in the future.
But to grant this a request for 25, I agree. I don't have a problem doing it, but I just don't want to see this for 26 being the norm as opposed to the exception.
Well, we did not budget that for 26, so.
But
That's
I
good.
just wanted to express upon the planning board chairman that just don't go ahead and do this and expect a budget modification for 26 as well.
Yes.
This is a payroll issue as well, so it's something that can't lag. So we've got to get that line item out of the negative, so we need to do a resolution at the next meeting to adjust that line item so that we're not carrying negatives.
So in your resolution tonight, Nate, for the other budget line transfers that the ordinance department requested, I see you also had $1,000 personnel line transfer in there from fund balance.
yeah, that's because I don't think I was ever sent the memo from Diane about the planning board adjustment, so I just knew that. So I added it in, not realizing.
So
that they
in
were
his
asking for more.
resolution tonight, there is $1,000 from fund balance to put in that personnel line that would take us out of the negative. But then we could adjust,
If you want to just adjust that by,
then adjust for the next resolution to 2450.
well, Kevin just modified tonight's resolution, right? Instead of 1,000, it's 3,450. That's
Okay.
fine.
Well, if that's what you guys want to do.
I'm fine with that. It saves another resolution at another meeting, so if we can adjust that for that line item that you have in there, because I'm not sure 1,000 actually covers it. I think it's a little short, but
Well, it doesn't cover it all, it just makes it whole, takes a line out of negative right now.
Okay.
Okay,
So we'll make the adjustment to 3450.
So that I understand that $1,000 that's in it is part of the 3450? Okay, got it.
okay, so then we're on to 7.5, cybersecurity coverage. This was presented to the past supervisor. I had Jody try to fill me in on it. I don't know if anybody else knows anything about it, but the best she told me is that we do not have much coverage with Pyramid, basically very little. And our insurance company is suggesting that we have cybersecurity coverage. I really don't understand it, but someone else can figure it out, or we can have him come in and talk to us.
I think that I'd be overstepping what I should be doing as a councilman to explain it, so we should get him in there. But
I think we better to have him in here.
But we should get him in here.
Okay.
But I definitely think it's something that we should have.
Okay.
So do we have to budget for it, a potential?
Yes. And in our conversations, we did,
I think we did. I think we
Yes.
put extra money in that,
in the software,
in the software line and
or contract or something, we did.
I can go back and look at my notes and make sure, but I think we did. Okay, moving on, 7.6, New York State DOT use permit. Adam, this is the one for the bell.
Correct. Correct.
Everybody take a look at it. Have any issues with it? Can I sign it?
I make a motion that you're authorized to execute it.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
None.
Is the bell? I mean, that's all it is?
It's at Shenango Forks where the
all it
bell
is.
is in Shenango
Yeah.
Forks.
Okay.
It's, yeah. So we can have the bell there per the DOT.
Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hulbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye. Okay, deputy assessor appointment. Nate, what'd you find out?
We can have one. It's chosen by the town board, not the assessor.
Okay. So everybody see her letter? What would you like to do?
I would just like, I mean, we have to hire her and we have to appoint her, but I don't see why we wouldn't do that.
Me either. I don't have an issue with this.
It's within the budget that we had talked about,
Yeah.
that she had projected that we'd need. It started a little later, actually, than what we had in the 25 budget, so that's not an issue for me.
So how quick do you want to do this? What do you? She's looking to get somebody hired as quick as possible, so she's behind.
So how do we make that happen as quick as possible?
You have to interview?
No.
Just,
I don't think we need to interview, because that's what is there, the pool is that person.
Do a
Yep.
motion.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hiring of anybody, right? So motion to hire so-and-so as part-time deputy assessor at the hourly rate of whatever you're talking about.
$25 an hour.
But you have to have an exact date to go with that, correct? Because she's not positive which one is going to do it. There's two of them. That's why she says he or she.
Okay.
I don't think she got a definite until she got an answer from the board. If
Okay, well.
So you could delegate the decision of which person to hire to Catherine. Just authorize her to hire either this person or that person and let her have those conversations and pick which one she wants. If they both say yes, theoretically.
Well, she can only hire one.
No, I know, but one deputy part-time assessor.
So, what we've done in the past in these situations is we have given the department head, and here it's the assessor, the authority to offer the job.
Okay.
And once there's an acceptance, then we do it at the next board meeting, whether by resolution to
Yep.
actually hire them.
Yep.
But, so, our motion would be to authorize her to offer the position of the assistant assessor at the rate of $25 per hour. Yeah, so, and then just condition it on, also meeting the hiring criteria for the town.
Okay, yeah.
I say that because I don't know if there is, like, drug testing or any medicals or something like
There-
that.
there is.
That has to go along with this position.
So are you gonna make that motion?
I didn't start it out like that we're playing Jeopardy?
That's a good one.
Okay. And I make the motion to authorize our assessor to offer the position for the assistant assessor at the rate of $25 per hour for up to 8 months per year at 8 hours a week.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
None.
None.
None. Roll call?
Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hulbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye. Okay, moving on to department reports. Attorney's report, 8.1.
Yep. Apologies for not circulating one again. But I attended office hours on October 16th and the 23rd, reviewed and commented on the comp plan contract, which we talked about earlier. Attended a lively special town board meeting on Monday, followed by an even livelier planning board meeting with public hearings regarding some solar projects. I think some decent progress was made on those. Drafted a solar moratorium local law, which I've distributed to each of you tonight for your review. And if you want to, I don't know if you want to schedule a public hearing on it already and move it forward just without really having looked at it, or if you maybe would want to have your special meeting on November 6th also include a discussion on the solar moratorium law and potentially scheduling a public hearing, well, on the November 6th meeting, scheduling a public hearing for later that month. But that's for you folks to decide. Drafted resolutions for tonight, just keeping on top of the EDU benefit assessment stuff. So the notice of hearing for the EDU benefit assessment has to be mailed out to every single affected property, not less than 10 and not more than 20 days prior to the date of the hearing on that. And the newspaper publication also has to be not less than 10, not more than 20 days prior to the hearing. So we're probably not gonna be able to make the November 12th meeting for the EDU hearing, which is fine. We just need to make sure we have our EDU benefit assessment wrapped up by the end of November so that the numbers can be sent off to Broome County so they can include it in the calculations and them getting everything ready for January 1st. So, you know, I kind of need you guys to pick a day when you're gonna have your EDU benefit assessment public hearing so we can make sure we get everything lined up for that. I was hoping to do it all on the 12th, but I think 2 weeks out, I'm not sure if Greg and his folks are gonna have enough time to print all the mailings and get everything sent out like they would probably need to do.
So is there only other choice is the 26th?
Well, you got all month. I don't wanna keep having you do public hearings, right? Or, excuse me, meetings, but, yeah, oops, looking at the wrong month. Yeah, your next meeting's on the 12th, and then, of course, you've got a meeting after that on the 26th. The 26th would be fine. Last year, you guys held your meeting on December 2nd, which I know from talking with the county last year was like real close for them to be able to get it all finalized. November 26th is good, because if somebody wants to challenge the benefit assessment, they have 30 days to do that, and that places that 30th day, you know, prior to the end of the year, so we'll know if you get sued before the tax bills go out.
I don't have any problem with the 26th.
Yeah, I say the 26th. Good.
Okay, so then
But
we will move forward with getting everything ready. You can either do a motion to schedule a public hearing on the sewer benefit assessment for November 26th at 6 PM right now, or again, you might add that to either the November 6th meeting, or even the November 12th meeting is fine. Like, we know we're doing it, we'll have everything trucking along so that mailings and things can go out, so probably November 12th, we'll add that to the meeting for you to formally schedule that.
Can we just do it now?
why won't
You,
we ju-
you can if you want to, but.
I just, myself, it's just a resolution issue. So, and get that prepared and get that going.
Oh, you want the resolution with the list of the EDUs and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice to have the
Yeah, no,
EDU
that's,
schedule
yeah, you
attached.
need to see them. I've seen them.
Okay, so we'll add that to November 12th, but I will otherwise tell Greg, get everything ready and moving and printed and stuffed and et cetera. He'll be thrilled.
He's got it together.
And then also, Gene, I know you'd questioned about the other procurements that need to be competitively bid by the department heads. I'd mentioned in an email or at some other point during a meeting, I think, after actually literally looking at everything with Darren and with Greg, it does look like the two gentlemen are following the procurement policies appropriately for almost everything. It was really like the chemical purchases, which are exceeding, you know, for the treatment plant and the water system, which are exceeding the procurement threshold. So we just need to competitively bid those, is what it ended up looking like to me anyway. And then I think,
So can you send the town board all that information, because that is diametrically opposed to the documents that have been shared up to date.
yeah, I know when I'd asked Lori for, basically she gave me a printout of year-to-date expenses by vendor. And on those, I flagged all the ones that looked like they were potentially exceeding the thresholds.
Yep, no, that's fine.
Yep,
Just-
and then talked with Greg and Darren about, basically, I was like, tell me all about these. And they said, oh, this is for this is for that, da-da-da-da-da.
No,
and-
just
yep.
put all that together and get it to the board, because that's not in line with the information that we've already been given for that.
Yeah, and
So,
the,
okay.
because I had a conversation, there's not like a memo that specifically says
Well,
everything.
then I would expect you to put that together so that it's on record of what we did.
Yeah,
that's what
we
I
can
would
do that. That's
Okay.
gonna be more effort really for Greg and Darren, because they're the ones with all the backup information for every single vendor from whom they've purchased stuff.
That's fine. But I definitely want to see it, because I know that there's vendors that are $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 that you're now saying you agree that it's not there. I want the supporting documentation that shows that we're not violating those procurement policies of ours or state procurement policy.
Yeah,
That's all.
no, and I mean, doing that exercise is not a bad idea anyway, because when Greg and Darren purchase stuff, they're supposed to have a procurement file for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it looked like they largely do.
Nope,
So,
that's fine.
yep.
Okay, go ahead. Any questions?
I do,
Okay, that's what,
but go ahead if you have.
The solar moratorium resolution, I would like to have that discussion on the 6th.
Okay.
hold on, so we're doing a special meeting.
We're we're doing a special meeting, I would just like to have that added to the agenda. I don't want that to wait till the 12th, because I'd rather be prepared to schedule the public hearing by that time.
I know that I know that I'm not gonna be able to be there, on the 6th.
For the 6th?
Yeah, 'cause that's why I said schedule it for the 6th, but I wasn't gonna be in town. When we just scheduled that public hearing
For the budget?
For the budget, to open it up, that was the only thing that was on the agenda, was to do the budget.
Okay, okay.
You guys do whatever you want, I just wanted to remind you, that.
I
that's
thought you were
something-
here on the 6th.
I can only be there if I can rearrange that schedule, and
And you're not able to?
well, I don't know if I'm able to or not, but right now I'm committed to being out of town, and that's why I wasn't gonna be there on the 6th. And all we were doing was opening the public hearing. So,
I mean, you can add things to your special meetings, right? As long as we include in the notice that goes out to the newspaper about what we're holding the meeting on. And it's, in this case, certainly to open the preliminary budget hearing. And Jay, you're saying you would like to add an agenda item to it to discuss the solar moratorium draft law and potentially schedule a public hearing for that at that meeting. If, I'm not sure if the other gentleman would agree to add that to the agenda or not.
I'm okay with adding it.
Gene, do you want to, what's your feelings on that?
I've got conversation that I'd like to be part of for that, because we just got it, so I've had no time to look at it, so it's the conversation that we're gonna have about what it's gonna say before it goes to public hearing. It's not the actual public hearing, but, so I'd wanna be part of that process, but,
And I agree you should. I mean, there's only 4 people on the board at this time, so it would be beneficial.
So the November 12th meeting.
I think it's gotta be on the 12th.
Yeah, I'd like to have you part of that conversation as well. And that's why, again, I didn't realize you weren't here on the 6th, and I'm still hoping you can be for that, but we'll move that to the 12th then.
if it is acceptable, I don't know, to put it on the agenda, and if I can attend, because my preference would be to try and be there, but if I can't not have the discussion, I don't know which way it's better for optics and presentation, because it's the public that's gonna come too, and if you don't
Yeah, well,
have it.
and I still think if you're tentative, I don't think we put it on the agenda, because
Okay.
I agree. I think you need to be part of that discussion.
Okay, all right, I
And
appreciate that.
it would be safer, and you're probably gonna get a lot of public comment. If you just wanna open a public hearing, you're gonna have a lot of public comment.
I
on it.
agree, and if that were on the agenda, people would
Yes.
be here, and I don't want to be in a position where we'd have to table it because you're not here. So I would suggest not putting it on the 6th and moving it on to the 12th.
And is the intention for it to be a town board discussion on what it is, or the public?
No, the intent is a town board discussion.
Okay, all right, because I'm just trying to think ahead on capacity. If we're having a public hearing.
We're not.
Or we're just having the public come and listen is a different issue.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
I suspect they'll still come and listen.
Yep, and I would hope they do. So, okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
The November 6th meeting is for the budget, to open the budget. But part of the budget issue is also the sewer rate increases, the electric rate increases, and those all have to be public hearings as well. So, for the water, the sewer, and we've only discussed the public hearing for the budget. We've gotta fit
They're
them in there.
individual?
Yeah, they're all separate hearings. I mean, I talked before about having all those, if we could have timed it well, everything on November 12th, even the EDU stuff, but the EDU stuff has got its own separate notice requirements. We can make the November 12th deadline for publication of the paper for the notice about the water rate increase, the sewer rate increase, and the fire contracts. So if you
And
could-
the lighting district.
in the lighting district. So if you want to schedule those public hearings for November 12th as well, by motion, we can do that, and I'll work with Adam and Greg to get the notices prepared and published.
So the 11th, 12th, not the 11th, 6th.
Yeah, those you might as well do. We're not gonna make the newspaper deadline for
Okay.
those on November 6th, because I don't have the information to put all the notices together to get to the paper. Like just as you guys were talking, I just sent the notice in for the preliminary budget hearing on November 6th, which can be published on Sunday. If we send it tomorrow, it won't get published until Monday, which is too short of a period of time prior to the hearing on November 6th. So November 12th is the dates for those other ones.
For the special districts.
Yes.
Yeah,
And the
there's
sewer
just-
rates, the
There's
water
just no real room to push that off because of the date of the adopted budget and in the meeting schedule. So just for those public hearings, I know Greg's pretty well set with the sewer and the water stuff, but I haven't seen any of the documents that we need to present for the lighting district. So that's gonna be, I don't even know where to start to get that stuff, but that's just is gonna have to be part of it. I just saying it out loud, so there's a box that we gotta check to get that squared away. And I don't even
The
know how
lighting
many-
district needs some explanation.
Yeah, and I don't know how many users are in that district, because that's a $65,000 increase to.
At least, unless you have to pay back the fund balance that you paid into it this year.
Oh, it has to.
So it's,
But I thought that's what it went to, 120. It went from like 60 something.
yeah, but you put 60 into it this year to bring it to 120 to finish the year off. And then you're gonna put the budget back at 120 next year, so you have to pay
Oh.
back.
Oh, that's way
That's-
worse.
That's what I was just looking at today, and we don't know exactly how it's gonna come out to the end of this year. It won't probably be the full
Okay.
120,
All right,
but that's what it has to be. You have to pay back what we paid into it this year.
yes. Yeah, okay. All right.
Any other questions for the attorney?
Have you done anything, or started, did anything with the work rules? Last year you did the write-up on the work rules, and that's something that's gonna be an after November, December conversation for the board, so if you haven't, I can just disseminate to the rest of the board what we've got for the 24 or 25 work rules for our conversation.
Yeah, I know, was that this year that we went through the work rules? Or was that last year that we updated them pretty exhaustively, right?
Sorry,
That was
last year. It was
Last year for this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I wasn't anticipating you as a board comprehensively reviewing them again. If you've got concerns or changes that you would like to see to it, I guess that would be, I mean, we can put it on the agenda just so you guys can talk about the work rules and if you want anything updated to it, but I wasn't anticipating making any significant changes to it.
The work rules are just, but the policy is that we're going to review it and adopt it every year. So we have to
Right.
do a resolution, we have to review it and do that any process anyway, so.
Yeah,
the-
normally, I guess I
The only
view
thing
that
that's
as
in there
the
that I think
reorg
is
meeting.
wrong is, we're getting into an area, discussion area that we don't need to tie up tonight for, so. Okay,
But regardless, the policy is to review annually.
yes,
Okay, we're all set with the attorney?
yes.
Okay, quick supervisor's report. You see the two quotes in there for the docking station and the wireless access points for upstairs. There's not enough money in the supervisor's line, contractual line to pay for both of them. There's still 2,000 in the contractual line for the town board equipment. Is it all right if I take some out of there?
Yeah, it should come out of the equipment line. If we've got to do an adjustment, we'll do resolutions to square it away.
So the total comes $1,819. There's 2,000 in the town board equipment line.
Yeah.
I'll just do a budget transfer. You want a resolution for that, or?
Oh, no, if you can do it, if there's enough in the equipment, do it there, because that's what it is.
Okay. Okay.
I'm good.
That's fine with that. The only other thing I had is Tim Heller, deputy clerk, approached me about the CVCF Schools Honor Society doing some landscaping cleanup out front here. Greg was okay with it, said we used to have others outside the town, employees do work out there before, take care of the gardens, clean it up. Would the town board have any problem with, they need their hours to do public service?
No, I have no issue with that.
So they would come in, clean it up, trim the bushes and stuff like that. He was taking care of it on the end, talking to the schools, superintendents at the schools, but I just bring it to the board?
Yep.
Okay, then I'll get back to him on that. That's all I got for now. Moving on.
Oh, before your supervisor.
Huh?
um,
Oh, deputy supervisor.
Deputy supervisor.
Jeez, I almost forgot it. All right, who wants to do it?
Gene?
No. I have, it's not a position that, I've already had a conversation with Kevin.
I nominate Jay.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, and it was.
If none of you guys want to do it, I can pick somebody else.
Yeah, so.
It's not gonna be a board member.
I was hoping that you had already picked one, because the 5 days is your choice, or the board picks them, or we abolish it.
You can do whatever you want, man.
Yeah.
Who's gonna? Forget it.
No,
You won't reconsider?
no.
If
Okay.
well, if you didn't want to do it, I was gonna have Darren do it.
Geez, I'll do it then.
Then I'll second Dave's motion.
That went quick. I just had to throw your name out there. Boom.
No, I said that because you said you do it, so that's the second in the motion. We have some.
Any discussion?
I have none.
I have none. I won't leave you hanging. I'll give you plenty
have
of time.
none.
I'll give you plenty of time
No,
to
I have
replace me.
none.
All right, vote.
Mr. Simonis?
We should clean that up by resolution at the November 12th.
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of resolutions, Nate, you ready?
Resolution 9.1, approving abstract number 22.
We have to do these resolutions first.
We're doing resolutions. What? We're doing resolutions, and we'll. Yep.
Yeah, we've got to get through the action items before 8.
Resolution approving abstract number 22.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
Roll call.
Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hulbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye.
Resolution 9.2, selecting retiree health insurance plan.
So move.
Second?
Any discussion?
None.
None.
Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hulbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye.
Resolution 9.3, authorizing budget line item adjustments. I'll note the discussion from earlier to modify the $1,000 from unexpended fund balance to a 8025.100, changing that from 1,000 to 3,450. So that would be a motion to approve the resolution as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
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 Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hulbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye.
Resolution 9.4, authorizing C2A change order 4.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
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 Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye.
Resolution 9.5, authorizing C1A change order 5.
So, second.
Any discussion?
None.
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 Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Jensen?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye.
Then resolution 9.6, I don't think we need to do. You guys did a motion earlier tonight to accept the tentative budget as modified on October 21st and this evening. So we don't need to do that one.
Alrighty. Future board topics?
Fill out the zoning board. Whatever process that is.
Yes. Do you want to have, we can have it advertised. We can do that. We don't even have to put that on here right now. We can have a quick discussion on, have it, put it on our website, put the signboard out front.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, so we'll do that tomorrow.
And then we can have on the agenda, Mr. Brewster's recommendation for discussion at the November 12th meeting and go through that.
Yep.
Just want to, when you go back and look at his recommendations, there was the comments on the training. for the-
Can
in
you
attendance.
send me your? You can just send it to me or Jody, one of us, or supervisor or Jody, so we have all that information.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So we still have on the 11/12, we're gonna do the council member application pool selection.
Yep,
So it's still on there.
that's still on there.
So on 11/12, we're gonna have hopefully have a senior account clerk recommendation to the board.
Yes.
Okay. And also the assessor, the assistant assessor.
Okay.
When will we review the RFPs for the professional services? We received them for the
Yes.
attorney and for the engineering. And do those on the 12th? Public hearings on the 12th are gonna take some time.
I know, that's why I'm afraid that we gotta be light,
also
we
have
gotta be
the-
light on the 12th.
But I wanted to get the moratorium discussion in there as well.
On the 12th.
That's what I'm saying, we're gonna have to be light on the 12th with the other stuff. I think we can we move the RFPs to the 26th? You won't be here.
I will be in Boston on the 26th, which is fine.
I mean, we can even move it to the next meeting after that, I mean, it's,
Do we need them
the
before we?
request, what?
Do we need them budget-wise?
Well, we have the budget
Yep.
from the RFPs.
We budgeted it already, the money.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh,
more of picking the proposals to go with for the next year.
Was it over the amounts that the highest, no, he's shaking his head.
No,
Yeah,
we-
the police attorney, it's within both proposals are within the budget that you've currently have.
Correct. We're fine with the budget.
Okay.
So do you want to push it off so Nate's here?
Yeah, the next one would be the December 10th.
Okay. We got RFP for wastewater treatment plant operations. Is that even gonna be? Maybe we could push that up. I mean, I hate keep pushing everything off, but
I think you should push that because Greg is looking and reviewing like what a proper scope of work would be. You know, like how to really define that. And I know he frankly asked Camden if they've ever responded to one before and if they've got like a draft that we can just like
okay.
take.
Put
So-
that on the 10th.
Yeah, the other one I think we should get out is RFP for electricity.
Right.
So the 12th, we have to do the comprehensive plan contract. Yep. So another change order? On the 12th? Do we have a number for that, or?
That,
Okay.
we need the MOA for the health insurance issue discussion,
Yes.
and that we asked for the 12th meeting. Hopefully that's a short
That should be a
conversation.
short conversation, I agree.
I hope,
I can't.
yeah. Well, one way or another, it's short.
Reasonably, right.
One way it's
One way or
gonna be
another,
short.
right,
Yeah.
right, because it's either yes or back to the other.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Jay, can we do any of the GD Vincennes stuff yet, or no? Their time requests that keep coming in every week. Is that something that Chris is, are we any closer, or at least on pieces of it? Still want that to fall off the radar.
No, there's stuff going on.
Okay, he doesn't always copy me still, so I don't know.
He was sent a bunch of information this week, so.
Super.
Anybody else have anything for the next meeting? 12th.
No, nothing. for-
I think we're good,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Is there any discussion to be had on the back file scanning project?
On what?
The proposal for the back file scanning project?
I was waiting for the results of the RFP.
Okay, well, we'll have to put out an RFP.
That's what we discussed 2 weeks ago, and you said you were gonna take care of it,
Okay,
right?
I too thought there was an RFP out for that.
okay, my mistake.
if you do get it to an RFP, we can put it on the 10th with the other RFPs.
It's, all the work is budgeted for 2026, so getting the RFPs in this year is not an absolute requirement. So I was just waiting for you to do the RFP and get the results in, and then we can move forward with that.
All right, are we,
We had discussed an RFP for the paychecks when we were going through the budget. I didn't bring that up earlier because it wasn't a budget line item issue, but that and the CPA, did we get CPA responses?
Nobody responded from a CPA firm.
What's that?
I don't think he's gonna respond.
Okay.
I can try to push it on him. I'm just trying to tiptoe around.
We may have to soften that a little bit, for sure.
Try again when he comes next time.
Okay. And then work rules, that's an early December timeframe, I think, for me.
On the 10th? On the 10th? Because basically that's our only meeting in December unless we're gonna, the other one's on the 24th. I don't think we want to be here on Christmas Eve.
No, no.
So either we're gonna have to change that one.
But we should be able to do the work rules on the 10th.
Yeah.
Do you, since the 10th is the meeting before your January reorg meeting, right? At the reorg meeting is often when, is when you would approve the work rules along with all of your other annual reviews and stuff. Do you want on December 10th drafts of all of the things that you might be approving at the January meeting? Yep.
Unless we schedule one for like the 17th or something. Yeah, but
Yep.
plan it for the 10th. Okay.
Any other discussion?
I have none.
Okay. Gonna move to open forum. Guests shall speak in orderly fashion or limited remarks of 5 time minutes or less. The speaker will deliver their comments and concerns in a civil tone and without the use of profanity, personal attacks, or other disruptive behavior which may result in offenders removed from the meeting. The speaker shall not be interrupted except in a matter of urgency. Would anybody like to speak?
Steve Parmenter, 735 Rossman Road. I retired from Burma Transit in October of 10, and I took their best family insurance policy that they had available. I've lost track of how much it cost me because I had to sign a paper that it comes out of my pension automatically. So I get a notice every fall saying that they're changing their policy or they're adjusting whatever, and I'm offered the opportunity to change my policy to reduce it if I want to, but I can never go back. And my point to you is, why can't the town piggyback with the county to get a better policy at a reduced rate? I was told at the time my rate was reflective of a policy taken by the county covering like 2,500 people. So I realize it's a little bit late now. I just didn't think of it before. But also another issue on the solar farms. I was reading an article on Facebook. I didn't know whether it was true or not, but this gentleman made a comment about a state agency that is unaccountable to anybody. And my question is, if you reject this solar farm, what are the consequences for the town? If the comment he made is accurate. Thank you.
I'd like to congratulate Jay Simonis on his new job. Excellent. I think you got the right guy, guys. Secondly, I still want to remind you on the real property tax law, 487. Please look into that. I think you're going to find out that that coincides with the other. It's a perfect match. And one last thing. I never thought I'd get to say this, and I'm out of line. I understand, but before I get planted, I'd like to say I move for adjournment. Thank you.
Okay, would anybody else like to speak? I'd like to make a motion to go into attorney-client session, discussion of a legal matter with employee of the I'm thinking of my old days.
I second.
Yes, sir.
Email these, or do you want to sign them right now?
Oh, I need to sign up?
Yeah, this was the 2 resolutions to sign these. I don't know. Right, right there. And then I can add your title tomorrow when I scan it. So I'll scan these and I'll email you tomorrow morning. Perfect. Thank you so much, Kevin.